It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your Monday, no matter how you may be consuming. I don't want this absorb thing to catch on.
Absorbing. All of our listeners from the future love saying absorbing.
I know. That's why I don't want it to catch on.
They're absorbing us, the show, and we appreciate however you absorb us.
Whether you're listening the old-fashioned way on the radio, streaming, watching on YouTube or KSLSports.com, or yes, hello to our friends in the future. Friends from the future.
Yeah.
Via the podcast, which you can download wherever you go. Are you what is your go-to podcast platform?
I use Apple Podcasts. You?
I used to really like Google Podcasts, but then they got rid of it. So now I'm just boring old Spotify. Yeah. Another company that I have to turn over like my life to.
Yeah. Everything in my life is at Apple, I guess, apparently. Photos and texts and, podcasts. So they've got everything about me already. So it just felt natural to stay with them.
We pay Spotify, I think, $2 million a year.
Okay.
And still, every time I'm listening to my home stereo system, like our Sonos or whatever, if my wife tries to listen to something on her phone, it still bumps us off.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Really nice.
It's like, what is that $2 million
really
going?
Fancy.
What is that going toward, really? I just wanted to have like a jam it out cleanup session yesterday with the house and was rudely interrupted.
Yeah.
Lame.
Technology.
Nobody likes to clean in silence.
No. You put headphones on, or you like the whole loud house?
Oh, I don't. Since we wear headphones so much, I really try to limit my headphone usage. Otherwise, and I am this close to strangling my eldest because she puts her headphones on with this little MP3 player that we bought her that has access to Spotify, and she's just oblivious to the world.
Tuned out the world. The
entire world.
My daughter's done the same thing.
Like, you're going to be living outside unless you start paying attention to what's going on. So, good times. Ben, we were talking about how we did not, I guess we were expecting maybe to consume a lot of hockey over the weekend, and after what happened on Friday with the Mammoth really getting dismantled at home in Game 6, that it almost felt like, I don't know, a hockey exhale?
It was somewhat inevitable that this was coming. Again, we had talked about games 3 and 4. Games 4 and 5. It really started to feel like Vegas was proving they were the better team. Then, of course, they ended up winning Game 6 as well in very dominant fashion. So I wasn't as confident that the Mammoth were going to escape the series. I thought maybe they'd put up a better fight on Friday night. We talked to some people who said they were very optimistic about Game 6 and they thought this team would be ready to go. Bear, even after the game, said, I thought we were going to go back to Vegas. He said, I fully expected us to be back in Vegas on Sunday. And they really no-showed. I mean, that was just a very, very poor performance. And even then when they did cut it down to 2-1 after the Yamamoto goal, what did it last? 2 minutes again, which has been so often the case with the Mammoth this season. They just can't carry some of the short-term momentum all that long. And that was one of the big stories throughout the entire series. Take a third-period lead, give it away, or cut into a lead as they did in Game 6 and then just couldn't capitalize on that to become something bigger.
You talked about, after Game 3, how the pressure was really on the Golden Knights. And we kind of debated about whether you can really feel pressure after 3 games, which I don't know if you can or not. But Vegas did not play like there was any pressure on them at all. Like during the series, getting back to the blown third period leads, the team never played like they were under the gun. And I don't know what you want to call Game 6, Ben, but if the Mammoth had the pressure on, it just all gave way.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It all gave way.
I think the dam broke.
And so, that's maybe something, obviously a big theme of locker room cleanouts and things like that in the future. I think is a learning experience.
Like
you got to find a way to deal with the pressure more. Even the pressure of having a lead, not necessarily in the series, but in the game. Don't just because you have a 1-goal lead doesn't mean you just back off and play the prevent for the rest of the game. I think there were certainly some lessons learned there, but from the Vegas perspective, ice cold. They didn't play like they had any pressure whatsoever on them. Just went out and handled their business. I mean, ice water in the veins, I guess, is what I'm aiming for. And, that's Stanley Cup experience, right?
Stone cold. No pun intended with Mark Stone. They did not blink at all. And even when they did drop, a very close game in Game 2 and then pretty lopsided game in Game 3, you're right. They had said after the game, we're feeling confident. We feel good about where we are. We think there's some things we can clean up. That's what John Tortorella said as well, the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. And he did make adjustments, and it seemed like he pushed all the right buttons, and it worked. And they won 3 straight. And somewhat, you win twice in overtime. It's certainly not convincing. And again, the Mammoth had the lead in the third period of 2 of those. But it did feel like Vegas was the better team. It did always feel like the Mammoth were trying to thread a needle to, get these victories either at home or on the road or hold on to something the whole time and just trying to get to the end of the clock. Versus Vegas felt like they were executing a game plan. It felt like Vegas was utilizing their strengths and the Mammoth were just trying to escape with their head above water. And I think ultimately, as you mentioned, the dam broke or they went underwater and they couldn't get their heads back above it. And it happened relatively quickly, I thought, in Game 6. It wasn't a blowout the entire game. They needed those 3 goals in the third period to finally end it. But yeah, it was not a great performance. It felt like a team that was at the very end of its rope and was not really even prepared to go back for a Game 7, even if that was kind of the talk.
Well, I mean, talk is talk.
It's cheap.
Vibe in the building is not. That's not anything,
right?
I think the vibe on the the vibe on the team. If you listen to Locker Room Cleanout, is still remains high, but they were not where they needed to be in that game. Or if you want to take a more charitable look on it for the Mammoth. They just couldn't match. Let me put it this way: Vegas really brought it. Vegas dug deep and said, "We're not gonna play with our food anymore."
They just looked like a serious Stanley Cup playoff team, and right. I'm not sure the Mammoth met that requirement yet. I don't think that's fair to say that they did. I think they had a couple of very nice wins early in the series. I think probably good when you're making the playoffs for the first time as a franchise in Salt Lake to get a couple of wins. Prove you belong, certainly better than just getting swept. We had debated, would you rather be up and blow it or show you don't belong at all? Better, I think, to go to 6 and get this experience and understand kind of the dynamics of a playoff series versus losing every game 5-1 or 5-2, which certainly could have happened. So not getting swept, I think, was important for them. But I don't think they can go into the offseason thinking, wow, we really had a chance to win that series, even if a lot of the games were close.
No, Ben, they're going into the offseason thinking they're Stanley Cup contenders.
Well, in my opinion, we talked about this a little bit last week, but it's fully official now. The honeymoon period is over. This first 2 years, everyone's happy you're here. Cool, the coach is very likable. The young players are fun to watch, and they're kind of developing. Keller making the Olympics, cool story, whatever. Schmaltz has to be way better. He was not good enough in this series. Krause has to be better. Had some good games in this series, was better than Schmaltz, but probably not quite, top line good enough to win the series. Otherwise, they would have won. Keller, he didn't no-show, but he certainly was not the star of this team. I thought Cooley was the best player on the ice, which is probably too much of a burden to ask for a player in his first ever playoff series, and you saw that wear on him by the end of the series. He was getting bad penalties. He was clearly worn down. He was clearly beat up. He was bleeding by the end of the series, quite literally. that was too much for him. Dylan Guenther is a play finisher, and he got some more of those quote-unquote greasy goals this year that he was trying to develop, and he's certainly getting better. And Cooley is continuing to get better, but are not ready right now to compete with, the top-line players right now in the NHL to win a playoff series. So those guys all have to get better. Vejmelka's going to have to prove that he can win a type of playoff series like this. And the defensive line has to be way, 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 way better. Again, we heard Mackenzie Weegar talk after and how happy they were and how, much he thinks this is a playoff team expected going forward and they should be thinking win the Stanley Cup. That's fine. It's fun to say. But you got to play way better. I mean, they weren't close to playing at that level, and that was a first-round series, not even talking about what you would have faced now going up against the Ducks had you won the series, much less if you were to win that one to get to the Western Conference Finals and face the Avalanche, who just hung 9 goals in their first game against the Minnesota Wild.
Like this?
Exactly this way.
Like that?
No. I was talking
like that?
At present. If you're going to talk like this, you've got to play better.
Like what?
Like this. Is that my new bell when I don't say the other one? Great.
I kind of like that.
Like that?
So, again, nothing wrong. A+, I think, to make the playoffs this year. That was the goal. That's what everybody stated before. Cooley said it. Bill Armstrong got on board. I think that was the right goal to set in year 2. Had they let themselves off the hook there and not gotten there, I think this would have been a little bit of a nondescript season, and there would have been some malaise or half-hearted buy-in from the local audience. And now I think there was a real buy-in. I think people took note of some of the players, some of the names, some of the storylines from this series, and we'll probably try and pick it up again next year if the team continues to compete at a higher level. But the "wow, we're just glad you're here" part has to end, and I think it has. I think that's totally fair. I think that has and it's an hourglass that's running out of sand, and I think the sand is fully gone. And now you've got to take the next step forward. And I don't know if that means you have to win a playoff series next round or next year, but I do think it has to be more competitive. I think the team needs to look more complete, and I think you need to take some more steps forward.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I wonder how much they change.
Yeah.
The old, we mentioned Gordon earlier today. The most awkward interview I've ever witnessed was Gordon talking to Kevin O'Connor about what they were going to do during the Boozer D-Will era to get bigger, and Kevin O'Connor kept saying, "Well, what would you do, Gordon? Lay it out for me. What player, Yeah. And Gordon's like, "It's not my job."
Yeah.
It's
which
blah,
is
blah,
right.
blah. And then the theme eventually,
right, it's not his job.
No, eventually the theme became internal development because there was nothing they could do. That was the awkward part.
Yeah,
was that there was really not a whole lot that they could do, and then all of a sudden we're talking about the internal development of Alec Burks and how that's going to, So, is it internal development? They've got 5 or 6 free agents that they have to make a decision on. Is it? The players in Tucson that are going to come up and contribute next year? Is it a big move? They have salary cap space. Is it a free agent? I heard Cole talking a little bit about who he thinks is going to be back and who he thinks is not going to be back. Does this result in the playoffs deserve a big change or a small one? I think it'll be really interesting to see what Bill Armstrong decides to do because I don't think there's a layup way to go, to be honest.
I don't know enough yet about hockey, and we are all trying to learn quickly and catch up, and I think it's been fun to watch this last couple of seasons, and I've liked learning these storylines. To know, is Bear underachieving? Is Bear not getting enough out of the players that maybe another coach would be able to? And coaching changes hire. We talked about, or coaching changes happen. Bruce Cassidy got fired, and John Tortorella stepped in, and they didn't lose a regular season game in regulation the rest of the year, and then they won an opening round playoff series. So, clearly coaching changes can make a difference. Now, I'm not at all advocating to change Coach Bear. I enjoyed talking to him in the limited opportunities we had to this season, but I don't know if that's where there's more room for growth. Because that is one of the decisions that teams make when they feel like they underachieve in the playoffs. Do the Mammoth feel like they're the Orlando Magic who had to fire their coach the day after the end of the season? We haven't heard anything along those lines.
I don't think they underachieved.
No, I don't think they did either. So if you don't feel like that's where the growth is, then you do start looking at, is Daniil Boot, is Maverick Lamoureux, is, Dmitry Simashev coming up? Can those guys make the roster next year and actually help you? Can they maybe not be Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley, but Can they answer some of your questions where maybe you do have free agency and they're more prized first and second round draft picks that step up and make a huge contribution to your roster and maybe are built the way playoff players look. And that's to make no mention of, Tisha Ginla, who's probably going to be competing to make this job at the beginning of next year or make this roster at the beginning of next season. So I think there are a lot of paths to take. And then, yes, free agency, having salary cap space, I think seems like it's going to be a major plus for the Mammoth where they can go out and chase somebody specific to come in and fill a gap that they feel like they have a hole.
How about nobody comes back?
Nobody.
Trade everybody.
Okay. Fantasy draft.
Total start
from
over.
scratch.
Because we heard that Vegas is kind of a bold franchise that they just kind of do what they want, right? Maybe that's the model to, follow. They're just going to cut everybody.
Seems gutsy.
Yeah.
Like Cooley's a pretty darn good player. Kells had some great games
Not
this
good
year.
enough, obviously.
Guenther was solid.
It was 5-1. What do you want
You're
from
right.
me?
You're right. If you're basing it off the last 60 minutes of hockey we saw, start from scratch.
Darn tootin'. Not
Hit the
good.
reset button.
Not good enough.
Hit the reset button entirely.
Maybe start tanking for a better draft pick.
A little late. A little late for that.
I'm talking about next year.
Oh, okay. And they do have a first-round pick. Now, of course, we're not going to see this first-round pick for 3 or 4 years, if ever. But, yeah, it'll be a bit. But a lot of the core is here. We know guys like J.J.
Not for long.
Peterka signed a contract. Logan Cooley's under contract. Lawson Krause is under contract. Dylan Guenther has a long-term deal. Keller's here. Schmaltz just signed a new deal. So they've got some dudes. Vamelka signed a big deal last summer. So they've got a lot of these pieces here for the foreseeable future, and then it's about building out around that.
Need to get a little bigger, probably.
I think they need to get a little bigger. I think that's a major piece.
They've got to find their tree from Mystery Alaska. If you've seen that.
Well,
movie.
that's Mav Lamoureux. He's an enormous person.
So you got to get a. They obviously were out physical for sure. So that is going to be a weakness. But do you this is again getting to know the sport. How much do you trade size for speed?
Mav 6'6", 200 pounds, stilt. Jeez.
Yeah, that's
Put some weight on
not
him.
what I'm talking about.
Put
I'm
some
talking
hip-
about like 6'6", 285.
Well, we need Mav to
Eat.
hit the barbecue joint, start picking up some food. I don't know what type of barbecue they have in Laval, Canada, but he's got to pick it up. French
Poutine?
barbecue. Yeah, that's fine. But it's so overrated. If I would save this for a hot take, poutine, by the way, I would absolutely punt on that as a meal. Fries with gravy, it's garbage. And I apologize to all of our Canadian listeners.
I had it in Toronto. It was pretty good.
I
No,
like
it's
gravy.
horrendous. It's just nothing.
No, it's great.
Have fries with fry sauce or ketchup, or you want to put a little cheese on there, I guess, whatever. But the poutine, no, it doesn't make any sense.
Gravy makes everything better.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
if we
it
did,
does.
we would put gravy on more things, but we don't because gravy's fine in certain spots. It doesn't belong on fries.
I put gravy on a lot.
Okay, you're better with malt vinegar, the way the Brits do it.
No, I'm on board with our friends to the north.
Yeah, I'm out. Certainly not doing enough for Mav.
Top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben. Man, there's some absurd stuff. Maybe we'll have to get to a little bit later. The world is an absurd place.
It's a wonderful place. We're all lucky to be here. Happy Monday.
Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. It is brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, Anthony Edwards is expected to play in Game 1 tonight.
Amazing. They said he's had a miraculous recovery over the last 24 hours. He's gone through hyperbaric chambers, all types of different stuff to get back on the floor. I'm very grateful for this because otherwise I thought the Western Conference second round was going to be completely unwatchable basketball. I thought it was going to be 100% miserable. Ant at least is going to win you a game, probably. I think that's fun. his fire on the floor is equal and maybe greater than even Victor Wembanyama, who that's one of his best strengths in addition to being 7'5". I do love the way he plays. The team really seems he's one of these players that's good enough that when he's on the floor, that team believes they can win they can win every game. And that is pretty rare. I do think that is something that really matters with winners, and I think Anthony Edwards is a winner in that sense. So I'm happier to see him. I hope he can stay healthy throughout.
Antler spray?
Whatever he's got to run on it.
Who was it that used it? Was that Ray Lewis?
Yeah.
Who's, I think it was, didn't he have was it a torn pec that miraculously healed in like 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, did you use HGH? He's like,
Sprayed some deer antler spray on it.
Deer antler spray.
Yeah. Stuff
is awesome. I guess, it makes the series more interesting, certainly. I'm surprised you think the Spurs are so unbeatable.
Well, I do think Victor Wembanyama is probably already the second best player in the NBA. Okay. I think he has made that huge jump. Steph Castle's been awesome. They just have a lot of depth. They seem to know exactly what their identity is. Dylan Harper's getting better every day.
And the shorthanded Wolves just ragdolled the Nuggets.
They did. They absolutely played very well. The Nugget, are an extremely wounded, flawed team. And I thought, really credit the Timberwolves for taking advantage of it. And look, the Spurs have not really faced a lot of adversity. They did a little bit, right? They lose game 2 at home. Victor Wembanyama gets hurt. And you thought, how are they going to respond to this? And then they went into Portland and erased 2 double-digit second-half deficits.
Yeah, and Portland sucks.
And Portland stinks, and they did find themselves down, but they did answer the bell when they needed to, and I think that's a team that's learning how to win, and I think that momentum is going to pick up throughout the playoffs. So I don't know, maybe I'm underselling Minnesota. Probably am. I'll be very curious how they handle Victor Wembanyama tonight. I'm very excited for this game.
You're going to handle him with Rudolph.
Again, I would not have been excited about it otherwise. I'll be curious. I wonder if they put Julius on him and then have Rudy as the roamer coming over and helping. They did not do that at all against Jokic, and it worked really well. That's kind of been the that's been the strategy for guarding Wemby for a lot of teams. Go small and then have somebody rotate over. Same thing with Jokic. So I'm curious to see how they handle that. Of course, it's not one look. They throw 20 different looks at a guy throughout a playoff series, but I'll be curious what they go with opening. And I think Chris Finch is a good playoff coach, so they'll have some things for Minnesota. This isn't going to be or for San Antonio. I don't think this is going to be a 4-game series, probably not even a 5-game series.
I don't know if there is another player in the NBA that I would pick if we were doing, fantasy draft stuff, and I had to play against Victor Wembanyama. I'd probably pick Rudy, wouldn't you?
Chet.
I'll see. If I would go the other way, if we were talking about, I thought you'd bring up somebody big and
you know who was great against him this year was Nurk. No kidding. Nurk was great against him.
I don't think an even more beanpole guy is what would take Wemby out of it. I think it'd have to be a big guy that beat him up.
Well, Nurk is great because he will swing across your arms if you bring the ball down, which is fine. Foul him 5 times, Nurk. Make him unhappy to be playing basketball against you. Every rebound, you're lower than him and you're just pushing him out, which I think is a really good strategy. It's why, honestly, I think there's a real push just for Victor alone for the Jazz to re-sign Nurk, just so you can have Nurkic and Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. to throw at him over and over and over because it's just a lot of looks and it's miserable. But yeah, I think that's the same path, which is why I might say put Julius Randle out there.
As opposed to Rudy. See, But if I'm thinking somebody who's big and long and very much moves well side to side, like that's Rudy.
Jaden McDaniels does that very well as well. So he's not as tall. And again, I don't think tall matters against Wemby because he's taller than you. It doesn't matter if you're Rudy 7'1" or Jaden McDaniels 6'9". He's 5 inches taller than Rudy. It doesn't really matter. So that's not going to be the issue. I do think it's somebody who can get up into him.
He's not that much taller than Rudy.
Look at the photos. Honestly, Wemby might be 7'6" already.
Rudy's like
crazy.
7'3".
No, Rudy's not that tall. Rudy's at least he's a true 7-footer. The gap between these two players is insane. I can't believe Wemby's this big.
And then I can't believe I'm saying this, but go Sixers. Let's make this happen.
Great series.
Hey. Honestly, I thought that Embiid should have won the MVP the year he did.
Uh-huh.
And people disagreed with me, which of course you certainly can. Everybody was saying give it to Jokic. I don't think people appreciate how truly dominant Embiid is when he plays.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston had nothing.
It's the ultimate caveat is when he plays, but it works both ways. When he plays, He shreds dudes. He's awesome. That dude absolutely rips when he's on the floor. There's no question about it. Joel Embiid is a Hall of Famer. He's a deserving MVP. Probably would have had more than one had he stayed healthy. You know, I remember that draft class with Wiggins and Jabari Parker and Dante Exum. And out of nowhere, this dude playing with Wiggins at Kansas was like, oh, this dude's so much better than everybody else on the floor and has only gotten better in the NBA. His body is just so freakish, it hasn't stayed healthy.
He is huge.
Yep.
I mean, huge. And if they're going to try and guard him with Karl Anthony Towns, it's going to be a long series
it is.
for the Knicks.
Yep.
But if Embiid doesn't play, and sometimes he doesn't play the mental game well, then the Sixers might be in trouble. I don't know. I'm certainly not in love with the Knicks.
But the nice thing is about the Sixers, now they can't win the series if Joel doesn't play at least 5 games. You know, they can't win the series without him.
His latest thing wasn't an injury, though. It was appendicitis. So it's not like...
then he had his knees fallen into at the very end of this last game, and I think he's okay. It sounds like he's okay. But he just isn't prone to those types of injuries for whatever
appendicitis?
reason. No, people falling into his knees and it really ruining his life. But the nice thing is, outside of Joel... Playoff P is suddenly playing like Playoff P.
Push-off P?
Paul George looked very good in that series, including the closeout game. And then Tyrese Maxey, I think, is better than Donovan Mitchell. I think he's eclipsed Donovan to be kind of that upper echelon of top 4 or 5 guards in the NBA. You know, he's not Anthony Edwards. He's not Luka. He's not quite the top. He's not Shea, certainly. But that second tier of guards who aren't MVP candidates but are clear All-NBA guys and every year All-Stars, Tyrese is just incredible. He's awesome. It's why I'm not so quick to poo-poo small guards quite yet. He's not tiny, but those guys who can score off the dribble and can kill you in the pick and roll and just make the right decision over and over have a ton of value, and Tyrese showed it.
Yeah, I don't like selfish guards, but unfortunately you've got 2 selfish guards, so you've got to pick your poison.
I don't even know if he's selfish. He'd be 30, 11, and 7 in this last game. Like, he dribbles, but someone's got to dribble. What do you have, Joel bring the ball up?
The assist is no longer a team stat necessarily.
Not what it once was.
No. So, I don't know. We'll see. But
the East is really interesting. The East playoffs are way better than the West.
Yeah, it's just because all the teams suck, though.
Yeah, they're all very evenly matched.
They're all crappy. And whereas in the West, you have one really great team. I'm not quite as sold on the Spurs as you are, but we'll see.
Yeah.
What's next?
Number 2, the Mavericks have found a replacement for old Nico.
This is a great hire by them.
Yeah, Masai Ujiri ran the Nuggets before Tim Connolly, who built the championship team, but really built a very good team. He built a team that I believe was in the bubble against the Jazz, if I remember, and then Masai went to Toronto and did build a championship team there, right?
No, he was gone from Denver a long time.
Was it Brooklyn? And then Toronto?
No. He's been in Toronto since 2013.
Was it that long?
He's been in Toronto forever.
Okay. Well, he built some good Denver teams. That's where he started. And then he went to Toronto and did a very good job and won the title, traded for Kawhi, made enemies with Brooklyn, if I remember correctly. He was yelling at them. And then, this is a great hire. This is exactly what
Well, who
Dallas
was it that
needs.
tried to arrest him after the...
For going onto the court.
That was in the finals, wasn't it?
I think it was in Toronto. Was it a Mountie? No, because they were in Golden State. I think somebody tried to arrest him.
That was not a good look.
No, it was a really bad look.
That was not a good look.
No, he's good.
No, he's really good. And Dallas has proven to be super dysfunctional with the new ownership group. And you and I don't really think Adelson's son-in-law is doing a great job. But this is a great hire. And they said they were going to go out and swing for the fences on the GM front. I think they got one of the best, 5 or 6 GMs in the league.
Has consistently
At
delivered.
least.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
Yeah, has consistently delivered really good teams. He's drafted extraordinarily well. He won Executive of the Year in 2013 and then moved to Toronto.
Is that what it was? Yeah. I knew it was. He's been in Toronto for a long time.
Because Denver is notoriously very cheap with their front offices and their coaches. They won't retain people at a high-value deal. So, yes, he goes to Toronto, builds that team out, including Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, and then gets, I don't know if he probably didn't draft DeMar at that point, but builds the roster that could trade for Kawhi and wins the title and becomes, probably a legend up there in Toronto, I'd imagine.
I'm trying to think. We never got to the Pat Riley has lost it sound. Who would you say are the top GMs in the league right now? Would you still put Pat up there? I'm not so sure.
No, Pat's lost that. Tim Connolly, extraordinarily good.
Yeah, he's great.
R.C. Buford, the Spurs, continues to do a very good job. What's his name with the with the Thunder has done a really good job.
Presti.
And then Masai's probably right in that conversation.
Yeah. I still
Dan Rose has done a good job with the Knicks.
Yeah. I still throw, and I don't know if he's even technically qualified, or not qualified, but, well, maybe that's the word. Danny Ainge, I still think, is one of the best GMs in the league, even though he's not technically. That's why I'm saying Austin is the executive technically, and Danny's the CEO, but I would still throw him into this conversation.
Yeah, Danny, of those names we had, I think you had those top 3 or 4 guys who the proof is in the pudding. Danny hasn't won a championship since 2008. Now, but he did win a championship, and he's built some very good teams, and he built a Celtics team that won the year after he left.
Yeah.
So he could have easily had one in the last 5 years had he just kept his old job. Brad Stevens is really good, too. He's done a good job, but some of the corpse of what Danny Ainge left over.
I think I don't know, I was thinking about this today. I think the philosophy change in Boston since Danny left might actually be responsible for some of their shortcomings.
Oh, there's a real chance that 2 years from now we're looking at how did they not get more out of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's combination
They've
together?
just bought way too much into the three-point bucket, and they didn't do that while Danny was there. And, yeah, they had a championship, so, hey, knock yourself right out. But ever since they've become this, we're going to take the most threes in the league by far, the results have been super inconsistent, particularly in the playoffs.
That loss to the Knicks last year was really bad in the playoffs. That was a bad series
This
loss.
last loss was
and
terrible.
And then losing this one, Game 7, which we'll talk more about coming up in the next hour, was a really, really bad loss. And I get Jason Tatum was hurt all year and then hurt in Game 7, but it's a bad loss. You're up 3-1 against a pretty battered Philadelphia team and couldn't close it out. Yeah, I'm a little curious about Joe Mazzulla's intricacies and how long they last.
Yeah, is it a Mazzulla thing? I think it might be a Boy Wonder thing. I think Danny might have kept the lid on what the Boy Wonder wanted to do from a schematic standpoint. Because I don't know. I mean, there's these stories that, and who knows what's true or not, but there's these stories that Danny Ainge's critique on the Quinn Snyder, Dennis Lindsey Jazz was they were too reliant on the three.
Mm-hmm. Too analytically driven. That's not really his game. And then all of a sudden he leaves and they turn into the most volume-wise three-point shooting team in the league. I don't know. We're through the looking glass, Ben. Who knows what's true and what's not. But I kind of wonder because, the nerds love the three ball. But when it leaves you, which it does in the playoffs, you got to – how did Dwayne Wade put it for the Jazz? You got to have a second gear.
You got to have another gear.
Yep.
I don't think Boston has another gear.
Agreed.
All right, what's next?
Number 3, the Mammoth lose Game 6. Their season is over. The playoff run is over.
Really curious to hear what Bill Armstrong has to say next time we hear from him. They've got a draft coming up and a first-round pick. Doesn't really matter that much right now with where the Mammoth are. And after you get, the 4th overall pick last year and T.J. Ginla the year before that with the 6th overall pick, that's where kind of the youth, I think, of this roster is going to revolve around. And great, if you could hit on another first-round pick, whatever. It's not going to change all that much of what they do this summer. Minus if they trade it, which those do still have a lot of value. We still see, on draft night over the last couple of nights, A, Bill Armstrong be active, and then B, go out and use it to acquire talent. So that's what I'd be keeping an eye on for their offseason adjustments. And
I expect some. I just wonder, like we talked about in the first segment, just how dramatic they're going to be. I mean, they accomplished their goal. Mm-hmm. They did not disappoint. They did not, I think, misrepresent themselves in the playoffs. Game 6 a little, but the rest of the series certainly was. I think that probably represented who they actually are. Yeah.
Some nights really good, really competitive, probably not as good as the best teams in the NHL.
So from run it all back to cut the whole team, I wonder where Bill Armstrong lands.
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Cut half the team?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, does that matter? Your bottom line? No, I like all the guys on the bottom line, and Tanev and O'Brien are the cool dudes, but. Yeah, who are you replacing? You've got 10 guys that probably really matter, just like an NBA team probably has 6 guys that really matter.
Do they bring back Yamamoto?
Yeah. I suspect the answer would be yes.
Ian Cole is 37?
Yeah, an older guy.
I wonder at what age it really leaves you in hockey.
Ovechkin's still cranking.
Well, Jaromir Jagr is still playing somewhere.
Right.
But not the same, cyclists don't hit their peak until like their 40s.
Just like me. I turn 40 next month, and I'm about to really kick this thing into gear. I hope.
Become a competitive cyclist?
I don't know. I just hope it's not winding down.
Oh, trust me, it's winding down.
The check engine light's on.
Trust me, it's winding down. I was surprised to see the Mammoth get dropped in Game 6. And we were talking about the pressure, and maybe the pressure gave way, but that was, for a team that had played pretty well through the first 5, that was certainly a stinker.
I think they were disappointed, and I think they were right to be disappointed. That was not the performance they had worked for all season. A closeout game at home to send it back to Game 7 with the series not over. Mm-hmm. This wasn't down 3-1. In fact, you were up 2-1 in this series. And again, went to overtime in back-to-back games. You had a real chance to close out this series. For that to be the final taste you go into the offseason with is a very sour one. That was not a good performance.
No. And, hey, every team but one ends on a loss, right?
Yeah.
But that's a tough one.
But you know what? That can be a good thing, too. Recognize how far you actually are.
We're going to play some audio from Mammoth Locker Room Cleanout. We're going to do that coming up at 3:30, and then we'll play some more at 4:30. A lot of players weighing in and some really good stuff. A lot of optimism coming from the players.
Okay. I'm excited to hear it.
We'll get to that. Stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
¿Quieres mejor internet? Cox Internet de 300 megas tiene las velocidades rápidas y confiables que buscas. Perfecto para streaming y gaming y trabajar desde casa. Yeah. Todo por solo $45 al mes cuando agregas Cox Mobile. Incluye equipo de Wi-Fi y garantía de precio de 2 años en tu plan. Yeah. No esperes. Cámbiate hoy a Cox. Requiere Cox Mobile Gig Unlimited. Garantía de precio no incluye impuestos y cargos. Velocidad de datos móviles se reduce después de 20 gigas al mes.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Let's go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals. We're honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to this show, Jake and Ben. For the winner, it's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. We're going to talk some NBA playoffs coming up right around the corner. We've got Royals Suite tickets to give away.
That is sweet.
A little bit later on in the show.
Do you have something you want to talk about?
No, go ahead.
There are a couple of NBA moves. We talked about Jamal Mosley, which I think we should get to in a bigger segment. But the Chicago Bulls, this is funny, bad timing. The Chicago Bulls, just announced from Shams Charania, have an open front office exec position, are hiring Atlanta Hawks senior vice president Bryson Graham to be the franchise's new executive vice president of basketball operations, which is essentially the Austin Ainge of the new Chicago Bulls now. Hiring a guy whose team just lost by 70 points in the playoffs is really tough. And then second of all, wasn't the rumor that Captain Jack was their GM too? Wasn't that why he took that job?
Well, it was either Captain Jack or the owner's kid. Or I think isn't Kyle Korver in there somewhere?
Grant Hill also?
Yeah. Not a particularly well-run franchise. I mean, there's a reason that teams pluck execs from the Spurs.
Silver and gold, mate.
Usually you see execs from well-run franchises get hired to, if you're not going to take like Masai Ujiri, who has experience, and you're taking an up-and-comer, usually you pick a functional franchise to select from. And I'm not sure how functional the Hawks really are.
I agree. They have talented pieces.
They drafted Jaylen Johnson?
They drafted Jaylen very well. Yeah, that was great. They messed up the Trae Young, Luka Doncic deal. They could have had Luka, Where would Luka still be on their team? I doubt it. But
who was the trade for the Spurs guy that they totally booted?
DeJounte Murray. Yeah, they blew that big time. They gave up several future swaps and unprotected picks that ended up being an absolute flub. They went out and got Dyson Daniels from New Orleans. That ended up being a good trade. So they're just kind of, I think, as we were just talking in the last segment of like, where would you put Danny Ainge? We know Danny Ainge does not have that job anymore with the Jazz, but among kind of front office execs, I think Danny, like, inarguably top 10. No question about it. Atlanta is like exactly what you would expect for somebody who has that job. Like a mid-level city. Guys seem to like being in Atlanta. I think there's some tax advantages. Maybe I'm wrong. You kind of do okay. You made some mistakes, did some good things. Nothing that like really stands out as you're not the worst by far, but you're nowhere near the best. So you're going to hire somebody out of that. They better be pretty darn sharp.
It's like hiring Joe Dumars as lieutenant.
Yeah. It's like, well, don't worry about what the guy in front of me did. It's not remarkable.
Gotta pick a functional.
But maybe I'm different.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Speaking of which, though, according to Jeff Goodman, who's somewhat suspect as a reporter, though he's pretty plugged into basketball, especially college basketball, he just tweeted that the Jazz are adding a man named Ben Gonzalez in a front office role. He has been the Georgia director of basketball operations for the Georgia Bulldogs. So we'll see what role he steps up and takes with the Jazz. I will tell you there are a lot of front office jobs that you never hear anything about. I don't think he's stepping in to be, above Justin Zanuck or right below Justin Zanuck or anything.
Are you saying he's got to find out where the good coffee spots are?
Probably. He's got to get there early. He's got to make sure he knows how to unlock all the doors so everyone can get in.
Not going to have the reserved parking spot in back.
He's got to make reservations for all the draft picks that they host when they come through town.
Okay. All right.
So he's got to learn what the best restaurants are?
Ben, I'm never going on a cruise again.
You're done?
Yeah.
Oh,
are you following this story?
Okay, I read it. I had to run some errands before the show today, and I just saw the headline.
I disliked my only cruise experience. Not the point. There is a boat, a Dutch cruise liner that is stranded at sea with roughly 150 people. They've got a hantavirus outbreak.
3 are dead already, right?
3 are dead. Lots of people are sick. Not to mention that people know where the hantavirus comes from, right?
Rat feces.
So the boat's infested with rats. I don't like that to begin with.
This is a throwback to Captain Jack. This is pirate times. You've got a boat carrying disease-filled rats. That's how the plague spread.
Yes. And now they're floating off the west coast of Africa, and let's see this Cape Verde. They said, "Hey, can we come get these people?" And they said, "No,
hell no.
They're not letting them anywhere near."
Of course you cannot.
This rat-infested cruise ship.
We've had a weird number of hantavirus stories in the last 12 months. I feel like, and yeah, this is by far the strangest.
Because since COVID, and I can tell you when on the Disney Wish, they take sanitation like super seriously.
Big time.
There's these washing stations, and they encourage you to wash all the time, and you totally get it. Happy to wash my hands, no problem. But that does nothing for you with hantavirus.
Yeah. Wasn't there a big cruise ship that got struck with COVID too?
Yeah, and they couldn't. They were off
700 cases on one boat.
Weren't they off Washington, like Seattle or something like that?
I'm not trying to laugh about it. I don't know if. Yeah, 7 people died. Oof.
Yikes!
Yeah, that was bad.
No, hard pass. Not doing it.
Starting to wonder if maybe the cruise ship is not the best path.
I just don't want to be stranded at sea. That sounds just awful. Can you imagine? I don't even get claustrophobic, really, but I think I would if I were trapped on a cruise ship at sea with the hantavirus.
Yes, if the whole thought is, and I like everybody else, when COVID started to pop up, started to feel like every time you took a heavy breath, you're like, that's it, I've got it. Or you had a tickle in your throat, you're like, oh, great. Emergency room's next. And I'm sure if you're stuck on this boat, anything, which you get nausea, as you did, being on a boat, I'm sure you're like, I'm a little seasick. And you're like, no, I've got hantavirus.
I'm a dead man.
Send the doctor.
There's nowhere we can go.
The doctor has it too, probably. So no,
I think I'd sleep on the deck or something. I don't want no enclosed spaces.
Yeah, nothing enclosed. But that's not. Does it? I don't think it spreads that way.
Yeah, it's airborne.
Hantavirus is airborne. You don't have to eat it.
No, it's
don't eat rat feces.
No, the droppings harden and then they
turn into dust.
Dust. Yeah.
I'm with you.
I think I think I'm one and
going
done.
Out. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sleeping on the deck.
Yeah.
I'm outside the whole time.
Could be raining. I don't care.
What year was that Hanta really took over the U.S.? Like
I don't
96, 97, before Christian was born.
Christian's like, what?
What is this?
Huh? Stay tuned. We're going to talk NBA playoffs coming up next. Jaylen Brown took to Twitch. What's that one? Wasn't that like a meetup?
Like video games.
A meetup site for single adults?
It's like video game streaming. It's where Christian hangs out.
Are you on Twitch, Christian?
No.
You're not?
No.
Oh, I thought you were streaming gaming or something.
Is it anything?
Not anymore.
Is it anything like chat roulette?
It's like Instagram Live, basically.
What?
It's like our YouTube stream.
Yeah, it's just like our YouTube stream. People come on and watch you play video games or watch games with you. Or
Breakdown films.
See, what's funny when I was young is if you made people watch you play video games, you were considered rude. Now it's a thing.
It's a pastime
where people are enjoying watching other people play video games.
Big time.
I cannot think of anything I'd want to do less.
To be fair, games have gotten way better, more watchable with other people playing them than they were when we were kids and you were trying to beat Castlevania for 45 minutes and you couldn't get past the first level. It's not. They are more interesting to look at now.
I remember Castlevania.
Yeah. But it wasn't fun to watch somebody else play.
Sit there and watch someone play Bubble Bobble.
Yeah, right.
It's just the worst.
Let me play. I think it's 2
just
players.
Awful.
I only have 1 controller. Marble Madness.
Oh, I was almost there. Let me play another guy.
Yeah. It changed, I think, with like Grand Theft Auto. And then I was like, oh, this is funny to watch.
Okay. Stay tuned. We're talking NBA playoffs coming up next.
Talking video games.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Listen, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Give her more than just a gift. Give her comfort she'll feel every single day. Enjoy Mother's Day deals at, I'm assuming Miki Couture, but it was not written at the top. Sorry. 50% off any regularly priced blanket with Zone 50. Shop online at mikicouture.com or in store at any one of their great locations. But Zone 50 is the best deal in town. And you can't miss with a Miki. Definitely not going on a cruise ship. Hantavirus.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
It's coming for you.
Let's talk a little NBA playoffs, Ben, because the Boston Celtics were eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers, which I got to admit I was surprised on Saturday night that Philly won that game in Boston. And Jaylen Brown, probably not too pleased losing, but he went to what was it again, Christian? Twitch. Not an adult dating site.
No.
Probably has happened.
But,
maybe.
But it's a video game streaming thing. Why is he talking? Is he playing video games when this happens?
He's breaking down film from the game.
All right.
He's doing like a play-by-play, going over like calls that the refs missed or mistakes that he made and why he made the decisions that he did.
All right.
He was kind of losing it.
Let's play this sound.
When I was dead last and getting calls, I was vocal about it. I got thrown out some games or et cetera. And they keep saying like this push off and this stuff like that. You know how many players do that? That is such that's the common play, a basketball play. Every player does it. So why are you targeting me? It clearly had an agenda. Maybe because I spoken that was critical of the refs in the regular season. So you know how they responded? Like, you're going to lead the playoffs in offensive fouls. That was the response from the officiating crew. And I've actually spoke to some refs, and they said it was agenda going into each game. So anytime Jaylen brings his arm up, just from reputation, just call it. Paul George does the same thing. Jalen Brunson does the same thing. I can go down the list. It's a basketball play, whether y'all believe it or not. You know what I mean? Everybody does that when you drive, especially if you got bodies on you. But Philly took advantage of it, and they took advantage of the officiating, and it cost us to some degree. I've been doing it all regular season, not a problem. and now all of a sudden it's offensive foul every time. You better keep that same energy with everybody else.
He did bring it up. I guess he didn't there that he had 10 offensive fouls in that series.
He had 6 specifically just with that push-off move.
Initial reaction?
I am totally with him that if they're going to call it against Jaylen Brown, I'm going to be curious to watch every member of the Oklahoma City Thunder foul out of this series because they do it more than anybody. I remember watching the last time the Jazz played them, which was a whatever game, a nothing game. But Shea does it. Jalen Williams does it. Cason Wallace does it. Chet does it. It's like if you watch it, you're like, how do all of these guys get to their 12-foot jump shots and they're wide open every time? And you recognize, oh, yeah, they just drive into you. They use their off arm to push you away, and they step back and shoot it. By the way, that was Lowry's entire isolation game this year. We talked about Lowry improving and averaging almost 27 points a game. That's why. Lowry got into that exact move that was taught to him because coaches around the NBA are very smart, scouts are very smart, and they say, they're not calling this foul. Just go ahead and do this every single time because Shea does it and all these great offensive scorers do it. And then, yes, they apparently decided to make it a focus of emphasis on in the playoffs, and it really hurt Jaylen.
They won't make those calls against Oklahoma City.
I agree.
So why is that?
I don't know. I do
Don't
think
you
what
think
he
that's what's relevant to this?
I do think what he is saying is accurate, that I do think there will be vendettas against players. If you've been overly loud, if you've been complaining too much, if you've been thrown out of too many games, I think they'll look at you.
Okay.
They'll watch you more closely.
So I'm glad. I had a tough time hearing Jaylen through all his tears there, but I think I got the gist. Now let me ask you this: if it's true, and these officials have an agenda and a vendetta against Jaylen Brown, would it be smart to go on the talk snap breaking down just how bad they are at their job and calling them out in front of everybody so that, a couple of radio bozos in Salt Lake City are even talking about it? You think that's a good way to get it fixed? You think that? And he's talking about, I don't know, maybe my criticism of the officials earlier in the league has created some bad blood that results in things not going my way. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. I want to show him the tape of Rudy getting thrown out in the first 8 seconds of the game against Houston, the game after he put the refs on blast.
Yeah. Chris Paul. Who was the ref that every time he called a Chris Paul game, Chris Paul left or lost the game? Yes, these refs do have these types of vendettas.
But Jaylen and a lot of people, yourself included, because you gave, and I'm not coming at you, I'm just saying you gave us a thorough breakdown on the lack of fairness in all this, actually think that people care about justice. Actually think that the NBA cares about justice, or the refs care about justice, or getting it right, or applying the rules fairly. Maybe some kind of do, but they're not robots. They're humans. And they're humans that are unionized and have a community. And so you may not like it, but if you publicly go out and blast a member of their community, they're probably not going to view you all that favorably. And you say, oh, well, that's unfair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
Shea criticize the officials?
No.
I bet he doesn't.
Yeah.
And guess who gets
At least not this way.
Guess who gets
not
every
publicly.
Guess who gets every whistle possible? Shea.
Yep.
Because these mouth-breathing officials worship these guys, and they're going to give you all the calls you want because they're big fans of yours, unless you do what?
Complain about it. Put them on blast.
Put them on blast. And by the way, you're a star player.
Yeah.
I'll listen to some, middle-of-the-road players sometimes complain about calls. But Jaylen, what do you bet me? That you get more calls than your average player because you're a star. And that's what happens in the NBA because of the bozo refs. So you know what you do? You lean into that instead of coming out and put them on blast like a crybaby. It's so foolish, in my opinion. And people, you misunderstand the room. It's not about justice. They don't care about it.
Right.
I'm sure they'd like to get it right, but they certainly don't want to get blasted for getting it wrong. Now everybody today is talking about this. He's never going to get a call again.
No, he will. This will be remembered. Now, I'm sure he's mad and rightfully frustrated that his series is over, his season is over. He had an MVP run this year. He's not going to get that type of love in the voting. But this is not going to help him going forward, to your point, next year.
It's not.
And also, like I'm going back, you can just Google or Twitter search Jaylen Brown push-off. You'll see several people have edited montages together. To be fair, he's also not very good at the move. Like, Shea is really good at it. He's way more subtle with it. There is one thing of, hey, my momentum's here. It looks like you've got my arm. My arm kind of extends, and then I step back. And then there's Jaylen Brown, who does put his shoulder into everybody and really, like, pushes you off. And Jaylen, you've got this stocky build, like, not trying to get too dorky in the X's and O's of why these calls get made, but even the way your body works, Jaylen, is working against you, and that's why you're getting these calls. So either get better at it, stop trying it, and if you've been called for 3 offensive fouls already, that is your turn to adjust. You know, a batter who doesn't like the strike zone has to adjust after the first time he's two at-bats that he strikes out and hasn't adjusted to where it is now.
Or
that's on you.
You lose and you complain about it.
Or, yeah, don't do anything, lose, and then take it to Twitch.
And listen, I have been a big Jaylen Brown advocate this year. Boston was way better than they should have been. He doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
Agreed.
And I know that he was a Finals MVP, but pay attention to all the narrative surrounding the Celtics. It's all about Jason Tatum. And so and this will transition to our next bite we're going to play from him. You know, how do you handle it when you're Scottie Pippen? When you're one of the best players in the game, but eclipsed by a teammate? Mm-hmm. And everybody thought that the Celtics were going to tank this year. We're going to do what the Pacers were going to do.
That was the big talk. Will this be a gap year?
The whole thing. And Jaylen Brown was the guy left, and they overachieved, and they had some breakout performances, but mainly it was about him, you know? And then Tatum comes back, and everybody's going, what a miraculous return by Jason Tatum.
They can win the title now.
They could possibly now win because Tatum is back. And so here's Jaylen Brown talking about how he felt about this season.
And this group was a special group. I'm so proud of this group and the way we played. I wish we trusted that style of play a little bit more, but I know playoffs kind of shifted our rotations and what we wanted to do. But I'm so proud, and it was my favorite year of my basketball career. One, streaming with you guys, chat, was awesome. Like, being able to talk to y'all was like therapy every single day. You know what I mean? I mean, not every day, like once a week or whatever, what I was doing. Just to be able to get on here and give y'all the perspective and kind of, because, you know, these narratives be going left and right, just to hear it from the horse's mouth. But then also being able to just be a part of a group that just, through the uncertainty, came to fight and came to compete and came and went to war. I'll take a team like that any day of the week.
Like that?
So I actually have no problem with what he's saying.
Agreed.
And I get why he's saying it. But even like Christian has a description of the bite in our doc here, and even Christian has shot at Tatum because it's all about Tatum. It's not about Jaylen. Jaylen loved this season because it was all about him.
Why do little kids like their birthday?
It's all about them.
It's all about them. The
Yeah.
day is all about you. Yeah, no wonder it was fun. You had the ball in your hands the entire game.
So how do you handle it when you're Scottie Pippen? And funny that Scottie Pippen is the ultimate example. He won't be remembered as one of the NBA's 50 best or whatever. Yeah. He'll be remembered as Michael Jordan's really good teammate. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan's number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, the second best player of all time.
Yep.
That's not what anybody wants.
But he was great.
He was. He won a bunch of titles.
So how do you handle it?
Yeah.
And Scottie handled it like a pro for most of his career. He's surprisingly bitter about it.
He is. Yeah.
In retirement.
Agreed.
If I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm a little bitter about it too.
I get it.
And I get why this year is his favorite year, although you shouldn't say that.
He's going to be All-NBA second team this year. He's getting those accolades. He has a Finals MVP, to your point, though I think everyone will always remember Jason Tatum being the better player on that team. Right or wrong, probably right, but neither here nor there.
You just said it.
But exactly right, and that bugs him clearly because, yes, I will say this. You're a little more read into it than I am, notoriously, if you listen to our show. I probably take things a little bit more at face value, and I mean this in a good way, in a compliment. I think you're better at picking out some of these things than I am because we will revisit the story a week later, and your initial thoughts come true more often than mine.
I appreciate
I'm just being
that.
like, no, I think he just doesn't mean anything by it. Like, this Dianna Russini Vrabel thing's probably nothing, and you're like, there's definitely something here, and you were right. You're better at that than I am. Immediately listening to this, I'm like, oh man, this dude is bummed that Jason Tatum came back.
Yes,
because not only did he say, this was my favorite year this year, He also noted that the thing he didn't like was how the rotation changed at the end of the season. And there are two pieces that changed. One, they went out and traded for Vucevic from the Bulls. They traded Anthony Simons, who was unplayable in this series. And then more importantly, Jason Tatum came back. So if you go on vacation and I talk about how it's my favorite show I've ever done, these 5 days I do with Christian, I just think it's the best work anyone's ever done. You come back, I'm like, there's some changes to the show I just can't quite put my finger on. I don't know what I don't like about it. The last couple of days. Strange. It's probably a shot at you.
It is.
He won conference finals MVP.
And finals MVP.
And finals MVP. And this is his favorite season.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe him. A lot of Jazz fans will tell you their favorite season to pull for the Jazz was Jerry's 500 season.
Yep, 03-04.
When everybody thought they were just going to be terrible. I mean, I don't blame him for feeling that way. I don't. I bet it was.
Yeah,
I bet it
absolutely,
was really great. I don't blame him.
He got a ton of accolades. He got a ton of love.
I don't think it's very smart to say it. And I don't think he can escape it.
Well, again,
unless he gets traded.
We've talked about this a lot, and I do think Oklahoma City is on the verge of bucking this trend, though they still got a long ways to go, and we'll see who gets out of this Timberwolves Spurs series, and whoever it is going to be tough for the Thunder to beat. I think the Thunder are probably about to win back-to-back titles, and they will be the first team to do it in whatever it is, 7 or 8 years now. But these windows just do not stay open long, and they don't stay open long for a lot of reasons. And the most notable one is the salary cap. And actually, if we want to look at why the Celtics are where they are today, in addition to Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles, it's that they had to trade away Kristaps Porzingis, and they had to trade away Drew Holiday, and they had to trade away some of their best players to get under the luxury tax so they could continue to build a roster going forward. That is certainly a big part of it. But also, these egos are enormous, and these personalities are weird. And I will tell you specifically, Jaylen Brown is not a bad guy. He's a weird guy. And weird is not derogatory. He's a Berkeley kid. He's been smart his whole life. He's like the head of a chess club or something. He's like a thinker. He's an intellectual. And sometimes those guys don't mix with everybody super well. Nobody liked Adam Keefe when he was in Utah. Some of these intellectual guys, I think, are hard to be around the other athletes. But, sorry for Adam Keefe catching a stray there. But, personalities can also kill a dynasty. And I don't know if we're going to see Boston get back to the top of the mountain. There's a real chance we don't.
He may be smart, I don't know, but this was really dumb. One thing...
well, yeah, that's the thing. Explain smart. Okay, you were awesome at Cal Berkeley. That doesn't mean you know how to run the dynamics of a team. The world's full with smart people who can't get along with anybody.
Like social media and the Players Tribune, and players just cry about how their message is twisted in the media and stuff like that, and how they want control over it.
Like that?
To defend PR people who I'm usually criticizing, PR people are really good at saying, that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
So if you have total control over it, this is really not a good idea.
He has full agency and, no limitations when he goes on Twitch.
Breaking down where the refs sucked with video assistance may feel super satisfying at the time. Maybe like, I've got him.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Do not do it.
Don't do it.
You wrote it in ink because it's on the internet.
Yep.
And even if you're like, I really regret doing that, it's always there. Every time you get called for an offensive foul, we will remember this now going forward.
Do you remember when Dennis Lindsey did a breakdown over how many times they got screwed in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and then made a big stink about it and sent the league or whatever? Did it get better?
Yeah, right. Did all of a sudden the Jazz start getting a favorable whistle?
I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it. So, way to go. Good move. And now the Celtics totally underachieved under the standard that they overachieved. Does that make it easy? They overachieved, and all of a sudden we're thinking, Boston, I did it.
We said they were the favorite to come out of the East, no question.
100%. And now you go out in the first round against Philly?
Be very curious to see what Jason Tatum's knee injury is that it didn't allow him to play Game 7, because that's pretty catastrophic. To not play in a closeout game, even though they said he was day-to-day.
It's probably he faked it to prove his importance.
Take this, Jaylen.
No, Jaylen did too well this year. So you know who's going to be responsible for our exit? You.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, this is on your shoulders.
Yeah, we're not going into next season with them talking about who's the best player on the team. Heck no.
I am curious.
We're talking about how you sucked in the playoffs.
You said boy wonder earlier. And I was honestly debating, who are you talking about? Which I think is an interesting part of who the Boston Celtics is. Now, you were talking about Brad Stevens.
I was.
You were not talking about Joe Mazzulla.
No.
Both of those guys are boy wonder.
They're both young,
Both of those guys are young guys who stepped into otherwise established jobs, replacing legends. Now, I don't necessarily want to say that Ime Udoka was a legend, but had gotten to the Celtics to the finals. And Brad Stevens, who was a good coach, had also gotten the Celtics to a very high level before stepping aside. Joe Mazzulla is winning with another person's team. And maybe he has a way to take it to the next level. We will see what he does next.
So is the boy wonder, though.
No, but exactly
I mean,
right. So that's what I'm curious. They could also just have the wrong guys in place that are winning with other people's players. And actually, this kind of mirage that this was a future dynasty building, which I remember you and I talked about as well with the Celtics, maybe that wasn't possible.
Brad Stevens hasn't done a dang thing.
I liked the Derek White trade.
Okay.
And I liked Al Horford, but he's also lost Al Horford now. You know, has he undone everything he's done? Well?
Signing a geezer off the street or trading for a geezer, I don't know. Is that really a brilliant move?
Right. And they didn't win just because they had Al Horford. They won because they had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, which again were...
And Derek White's really good. So, hey,
he's done some decent things.
Not totally blasting the guy,
but he didn't build that from the ground up.
Absolutely not.
I know you didn't know what Twitch was. I know that you kind of don't know what the Snap Talk is. What do we call it?
The Talk Snap?
The Talk
Either
Snap.
Way?
Yeah. The chat bot. I hope as technology continues, because you hate that we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube, by the way.
I do hate
it. Go to KSLSports.com or go to YouTube and look up KSL Sports. I hope that as technology continues to infiltrate our lives, especially our jobs, at some point you have to say this same thing.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
I hope you have to start referring to chat as if chat's a person.
Well, I didn't even understand what he said.
Say it again.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
He was talking about how the best part of his year, other than having the ball in his hands the whole time, was streaming with you guys, chat.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
Chat is obviously just the audience, but it's now the entire word for anyone who is paying attention. Yes, the audience. So
we do have a chat on YouTube.
We do have a
and
chat.
People chime in.
And I hope at some point it becomes a part of what we like to say in the business, your workflow.
But it's not a singular person.
Correct.
So that's dumb.
But I want to hear you have to talk to chat.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
Because, Christian, how long has that been a phrase? Like 5 years people have been talking to chat?
COVID definitely was the explosion.
I wonder who brought that up. I wonder who was the first person to say chat. Regardless, I'm excited. It's coming for you one day. You're going to have to talk about it. One day you're going to have to talk to, chat. And it might be the death of Jake internally. It might be the day we see Jake die inside fully. But it's not that far off. If Jaylen Brown's doing it while he's breaking down film, it's not too far on your heels,
Well,
pal.
Jaylen Brown's obviously an idiot. So I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
All right, chat.
I will talk to our listeners because that is a accurate statement. Chat, that's not a person. It's like people who are trying to have relationships with a stupid, give me an AI.
Claude.
Yeah. Or they're talking to Claude like it's a person. If you do that around me, I'm going to think you're an idiot. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I can't wait till we have the first AI assistant on an NBA bench.
If they call him Derek and treat him like he's a human, I'm going to be...
Oh, it's going to replace George, unfortunately for George. The replay official.
The Rodman?
It's going to replace George Rodman. It's just going to be some humanoid robot that's looking at an iPad screen that tells you whether or not to challenge a call.
Boy wonder.
I don't get it.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
What was that stupid movie where the gladiator villain fell in love with his phone?
Her? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I have no idea. I had no interest in watching that movie.
In fact, I think it's called Her, period.
In the slightest. And the fact that at least the premise of that show is becoming more of a reality is so gross.
Mm-hmm. It was Scarlett Johansson, I think, did the voice, if I remember correctly.
Which is totally creepy. I would never have signed up for that role if I were her.
Or Joaquin.
Or Commodus, yeah.
Was that his name?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You know, he watched his brother die.
Did you see the new one?
The new Gladiator?
Uh-huh.
No.
It's terrible.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's the reason I didn't see it.
Yeah, you were smart. Me? Not so much. I didn't see it in theaters.
Well, yeah, Rusty Crowe is probably desperate for money.
He's not in it. He dies in the first one, if you remember. Spoiler.
Well, it could have been a prequel.
Christian, have you seen the original Gladiator?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's a sequel.
So who's it starring?
Denzel.
No, the lead is
the training
some new
day guy?
Paul Mescal.
up and comer. Yeah.
Who rules? I'm a huge
Paul
fan.
who?
Paul Mescal. He plays Shakespeare in Hamlet.
It's called it's called Hamlet.
Hamnet is the movie. Pedro Pascal's in it, and Denzel.
Wait, the creepy guy that likes to grope everyone?
Who?
Pedro.
Oh, Pedro.
No, it's called Mandalorian and Grogu.
No, I'm telling you, that Pedro guy has you could he's got
touchy.
He's touchy.
He's a touchy guy.
It's like a thing.
Anyways, chat. We got more on the other side, chat.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
Nope. We'll have.
He
more,
said it so naturally.
We'll have
He's
more
been doing this for a long time.
Coming up next. We're gonna play some Locker Room Cleanout sound for you from the Mammoth. We'll let you hear from Dylan Guenther coming up right around the corner. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Duration, Woodscapes, and Super Deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson. I was thinking I was talking Lagoon over the weekend. I was thinking Lagoon's in this song. Have you heard anything about the new ride?
The Nutcracker.
That's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm. I heard the line was super long.
Have you heard it's good?
I have not heard yet, but I hope it makes the lines for the other new rides shorter.
The name of the ride itself is not inspiring.
Agreed.
I'm not sure if that's a home run.
I'm with you.
Like, I don't hear Nutcracker and think I need to get on that ride.
You need to go to Lagoon for the Nutcracker.
Not a lot of men that are riding this ride.
Yeah, right. It's either that or Christmas. You know what I mean?
My thought was Christmas, and I love Christmas, but it also doesn't. I don't associate Lagoon with Christmas either.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, if you went through and it snowed on you or something, I'd be like, okay, we're cool.
Wicked.
Rat King there.
Wicked. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Colossus.
The fire dragon.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Nutcracker. I'm either thinking the lame Christmas thing or the
kick to the groin.
Or a kick to the groin. Yeah.
The groin kicker.
Or
what?
My prescribed punishment for a lost review in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The coach gets kicked in the groin.
Right.
Gets the Nutcracker.
Shout out to our friends at Lagoon, though.
Oh, yeah.
The ride's great. I'll
love
get
Lagoon.
on it eventually.
Yeah.
The Rocket. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
The white roller coaster, even though that's not what it's called. You know what it is.
Yeah.
It's not so white anymore.
But the groin kicker.
Yeah, the Nutcracker. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get in line for that. No. Let's get to some hockey locker room cleanout sound, shall we? Here is Dylan Guenther. No doubt, big performance this season. By the way, the power play still sucked in Game 6. By the way, Ben, something that's obviously got to get addressed. But let's go ahead and hear his comments. Locker room cleanout yesterday.
Transition from the playoffs I know Bill was laughing this morning. Couldn't take me seriously in the meeting there.
What do you take the most pride in this season? I know it was a long one, but ups and downs. Where do you guys take the most pride in?
Yeah, I feel like we set goals, and I mean we achieved them. I think throughout the year, we obviously had bigger goals, but throughout the season, we were pushing to make the playoffs, pushing to be in the wild card one, and we achieved it. And not satisfied with it. I think there was still I think we left a little bit on the table, which gives you a little bit of a sour taste. But I think it's important to have that too, and just so you have that feeling and you understand what it's like, because you don't want to be there again.
Andre shared with us after that last game that the game one of round one was a big learning lesson for a lot of younger guys like yourself. What did you take away most from that first game of the first round of Stanley Cup playoffs? It was kind of what I expected, to be honest. It's just long. I think the whole series is just long, and it's just about sticking with it the longest. And, you're playing the same team, and you're just continuing trying to grind them down. So I think just the process of trying to grind down the other team and how to, just chip away and kind of invest is a good learning experience. We know there was an air of confidence about this room all season long. What made the biggest difference between last year and this year in terms of being able to operate in that culture with the group?
Yeah, I think when you have a little bit of success, definitely brings confidence. But no, I think that I don't know. We've always kind of had that. I feel like for us to be successful, we play with a little bit of swagger, and we have some skill and stuff. And I think it's important for us to use that.
40 goals this year. Congratulations. That's a big milestone. But where do you think you can get? You're still really young, probably still pushing to get even better than that. Where do you think you really can reach in your career? Yeah, I think I've gotten better every single season, physically, and I think I just want continuous improvement. Might not show up all the time on the game sheet, but I think just trying to strive and trying to get a little bit better every single season is my goal. How do you think playoff hockey compared to the other high levels of hockey, or high intensity hockey games that you've played, whether in WHL championships and World Juniors and all that kind of stuff? Yeah. Was there anything that surprised you about the intensity or anything like that? I feel like it prepares you well, playing in those big games, and even playing in the playoffs in junior, still a 7-game series. You're still breaking down the other team. And I think it prepares you, but just the crowd and the people watching on TV and stuff. I think it's just a lot of fun to be there, and to have that makes you want to be back there.
You mentioned the 40 goals again, big deal. Congrats. But Turney, you mentioned all throughout the season how good you were on the other side of the puck as well, and not a lot of people see that. How do you think you've improved this season, especially on that side of the puck? Yeah, I think goal scoring has kind of got me into the league, but being able to defend and stuff got me more minutes, especially when I was younger, and just allowed me to play more and then utilize the stuff that I'm good at. So I take pride in that. I think I'm competitive, and I don't like when they score when I'm on the ice. So I think that's a big part of it. And if you want to be a winning team, everyone has to defend. So. Who knows what the ceiling is for you goal-wise, but what do you want to work on during the off-season to help you into the next season?
I feel like I can hold on to more pucks, down low. Try to just work on protecting the puck a little bit better, spinning off guys and stuff, and then getting to the net. I think if I can add a few more rebound goals and even tipping goals, those add up. So I think continuing to work on that aspect, and then just speed and strength. Faster I am, the more productive I'll be, and better the team will be.
A couple of the guys have said that playoffs are now the standard. How do you uphold that standard moving forward with how difficult it is to even get to the postseason?
Yeah, I think you just want more all the time from yourself, and then when the players want more from themselves, the team will just naturally be better. But yeah, we've gotten better ever since I kind of came here. The team's gotten a little bit better every season, and I don't think that'll stop.
What did that first round series against Vegas, an experienced team, teach you about what it takes to win in the postseason?
Yeah, I think just sticking with it. I think the last game we played in front of them a little bit too much, and they were just pretty calm and collective and composed and allowed us to just kind of make the mistakes. So I think just keeping that level head and, not forcing stuff when it's not there, just chipping away and it'll come.
Thanks, Don. Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go, Dylan Guenther, and no doubt going to be a big part of, we talked about how much change will come. I have no doubt that he'll be a big part of the team going forward.
Curious how much better he can get, in all honesty. There's not 60 goal scorers. He's got 40 already.
Yeah.
There are some 50-goal guys, but you don't get that much above it. And, I think there's a real possibility he gets to 50. But, how much does that change the quality of player he is, and then what's next? And, you can be a two-way player. Nick Schmaltz is an absolutely terrific defensive player. Can Guenther add more of that? Can he add more playmaking? I think those would be the big questions for Dylan.
I agree. And, this is part of the internal growth that we were talking about, right? How much does a player like that get better?
Yeah.
Like that?
And you think the ceiling's a little lower?
No, I don't want to say the ceiling's lower. He's just, 23? And he's really, he's getting close to what basically, unless you're Wayne Gretzky or Ovechkin, kind of maxes out. The same reason in the NBA, nobody averages 40 points a game. It's you kind of get to 30 and you stop. How much higher can you go if you're Dylan Guenther? Especially because Dylan is not a Connor McDavid, get the stick on my puck, weave through all of the defense, and get to the net front. A lot of his is set up on one-timers. He is reliant on the center or whoever in the power play to set him up. And that doesn't mean he didn't have more of those, in his words, greasy goals this year. He did. He got better at that. But it's not his game necessarily. So as a sniper, it's kind of like a three-point shooter. It's just if you're not creating most of or all of your goals, how much further can you get? That's where I'm curious.
All right, we will play more Locker Room Cleanout sound for you coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, probably toward the bottom of the hour. But we're going to hear from Clayton Keller and Logan Cooley as well. So make sure and stay tuned for that. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. We've got to talk about that at some point. Maybe, did you see the Celtics gone fishing on...
I didn't. No, I need to look it up.
On Inside the NBA on ESPN, which still feels weird.
Yeah.
Okay, people are familiar with this, right? What they do. Every time a team loses in a series, they put up a graphic, and it's usually a goofy photo of the team and other relevant people fishing. And it's gone fishing. It's kind of cartoonish, right? Well, they did it for the Celtics last night or Saturday night, and Ben, the graphic is a boat, and there's members of the team fishing, but there's
Bill Simmons, there's Mark Wahlberg, there's John Krasinski from The Office, there's Will Hunting, Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting, Ben Affleck's also there, Tatum, Brown, and two other people at the front of the boat.
It's Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini doing like the Titanic. Like they wanted us to do at the Titanic Museum.
Yeah.
And we refused.
We didn't do it.
And people are either laughing or people in Boston are really upset. The hosts themselves, who do not see those graphics, by the way, until they put it up there, they absolutely tap danced around it.
Yeah.
They did not want to talk about it.
Usually media doesn't burn media, right or wrong. Now, you and I have taken some blowtorches to the media whenever it's seemed appropriate, so it's not an issue you or I have. Yeah, they certainly were a little uncomfortable with it.
Well, she used to be on ESPN.
Yeah, she was an ESPN person.
I saw some wingnut from Boston saying, I told you ESPN had a bias. ESPN knew nothing about that. it was just the crew on
Yeah,
inside the NBA
some
doing
graphic designer dude.
doing what they do. I think it's hilarious. I think it is funny watching the national media tap dance around that story. The fact that it's not ESPN that ran with that story, but it's Page Six.
Yeah.
That is doing the biggest sports story of the year is hilarious. And you know what? I think a lot of people thought the mouse has taken the edge off of Inside of the NBA. I'd be curious to your opinion on that. I don't know how much the show has actually changed now being on that network because it's still produced by Turner. It's still the old production company that is creating the show. It's just aired now on ESPN. And I would say this is evidence that no, the mouse hasn't
neutered it.
Not
completely.
Taken the edge off of it.
I think actually some of the other issues have been they've just like tried to add in some weird segments that haven't worked at all versus just kind of going with the tried and true of what worked on TNT. But you try and keep things fresh, and some things work and some things don't. I think ESPN has probably tried to walk a little bit finer line of not offending anybody than they were worried about on TNT, and ESPN just owns so many different properties that with Disney, they probably have to be a little bit more careful. But again, man, like the simple part of it, and it's what you always bring up is Page Six. Dianna, Mike, if you don't want to get made fun of,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you don't want it on Page Six, don't do it.
I get that Dianna worked at ESPN starting in 2015 and then left a couple of years ago to go to The Athletic, but you violated very serious rules. It's kind of the rules everyone knows not to violate in media. And that doesn't mean you don't build relationships with people and don't get on first name basis with people, but you don't become intimate with those people. You can get to know somebody, you can become friends with somebody as long as it's still understood that you're going to cover them critically, but friends has to be a very strong line, and I'm not saying you're buddies with them, I'm not saying you're hanging out with them, but you can be friendly. I'm friendly with people I cover. I absolutely am. But Dianna, you crossed the ultimate line. I don't know what to tell you.
Ben, I know you're very attracted to Austin Age.
Mm-hmm.
There's just lines that you can't cross.
Can't cross.
That's how it works. I saw a tabloidy report that she is devastated that Mike picked his wife over her.
What would Mike have? What was he supposed to do? Honestly, pick Dianna in this situation?
Well, she thinks so.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But what would that look like for either of them going forward? How did she think that was the best outcome?
I don't know.
I'm not saying people haven't done this in the past. You know,
who, Ben?
Tom Brady picked
and who?
Giselle over.
Well, Brigitte Moynihan.
Yeah, Brigitte Moynihan. But
I thought you were going to say Tom Brady had a reporter, an insider.
No, people have picked high-profile affairs over their
Giselle
previous spouse.
wasn't working for The Athletic.
No, at all. That's why this is stranger. And to be fair, to go back to our tried and true Nick Saban argument that if I cheat on, what's he call his wife, Miss Jenny or whatever her name is, I can't remember, he has to do it with Hillary Clinton. Giselle is Hillary Clinton. Giselle made more money than Tom Brady did when he left Brigitte Moynihan. Now, that's not an excuse to do it, but
kind of a sleazy move, really.
Giselle was more famous than either of them. Maybe not either of them, but Giselle was a worldwide superstar. Now, Dianna Russini is more famous than Vrabel's wife, but you're a media member. You can't leave for that relationship. That doesn't make any sense at all.
There, what's his name? The UNLV head coach. Why am I spacing? Football coach. Used to be at Utah. Went to Florida.
Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen. He married a TV reporter from Salt Lake when he was here.
Okay.
I do think that there are appropriate ways to do relationships.
Well, look, you're going to meet the people you work with.
And I don't know in their particular case, but my point is, relationships happen in a variety of ways. I got to think there could have been a more responsible way
absolutely.
to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're going to pick a mistress, I'm sure there are plenty of barflies out there that would be happy to.
Man, I've got Diana's Wikipedia page open, and it's hard because you would think it would be like a long one. She has am I going the right way?
Yeah.
Right. It's not that long.
No.
And you get down to Vrabel.
And it's long.
And also, she only has like 4 paragraphs, but half of her Wikipedia page now is Vrabel.
Well, that's all nobody's going to remember a story she broke from here on out.
No, correct.
Unless it's to say, how did you get that? How did you land that? Who was your anonymous source exactly?
It all traces back to this this controversy with Vrabel, which, again, she brought this on herself.
Indeed.
I wish I could feel bad. I really don't.
And now she's getting clowned on inside the NBA of all places.
But you saw Stugotz said he would bring her back. You know who Stugotz is?
The radio guy.
The radio guy who did the show with, who's the guy in Miami?
Dan Le Batard.
Dan Le Batard. And they broke up for whatever reason. And Stugotz went to CBS Radio, and he said he would bring Dianna Russini back whenever she wants to have a job. He said he'd bring her back on the radio, which maybe that'll be her next gig. He said, we're friends, and I care more about her friendship than... He said, I'm not a journalist. I'm an entertainer, which I think is actually totally fair to say if you're a sports radio host. Yeah. Russini was not an entertainer. She was a journalist. But if she wants to switch the job and just be a journalist or an entertainer now, we'll see if she comes back.
Is she very entertaining?
I have no idea. If we've been entertained by this story.
Well, yeah. I mean, if she jumps on and starts dishing the dirt, well, yeah, that's very entertaining. But being entertaining on a sports talk show and talking about Vrabel's abilities in the boudoir are a different kind of entertaining. Maybe she'll write a song about it like Taylor Swift.
I don't even think SNL has hit this, which to your point is like, why are people not joking about this?
Because they're afraid of the NFL.
They are afraid of this, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like right up SNL's alley.
Yeah, like people don't pay attention to these sorts of things, but it matters who breaks the story.
Yeah, it does.
It matters what outlets cover the story and what outlets choose not to. Again, ESPN didn't even mention this story for 11 days.
Well, you and I are hard-hitting journalism. That's why we talked about it.
Or I'm glued to page 6, 24/7.
We just really like the story.
It's a salacious story.
Yeah.
Again, I know you're attracted to Austin Ainge, but you're married.
Correct. Not to Austin Ainge.
Not to Austin Ainge, but to somebody else who's a lovely person. Mm-hmm. I think it would compromise your job and your marriage.
Correct.
Maybe some other things. All right. Coming up next, we'll talk some more NBA playoffs. We're going to have NHL, more Mammoth Locker Room Cleanout sound coming up at 4:30. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The 4 o'clock hour is here.
It's fun time!
And you're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
I'll be very curious how they handle Victor Wembanyama tonight. I'm very excited for this game.
You're going to handle him with Rudolph.
Again, I would not have been excited about it otherwise. I'll be curious. I wonder if they put Julius on him and then have Rudy as the roamer. I think Chris Finch is a good playoff coach, so they'll have some things from San Antonio. I don't think this is going to be a 4-game series, probably not even a 5-game series.
I don't know if there is another player in the NBA that I would pick if we were doing, fantasy draft stuff, and I had to play against Victor Wembanyama. I'd probably pick Rudy.
This is Jake and Ben on 97.5. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll get back to the NBA playoffs. We can talk about that clip, and the Spurs and the Timberwolves should be a pretty good matchup, I think, but a little bit better than Ben. We can dive back into that. But did you see, real quick, Ben, the failed proposal at the Red Sox game that's making the rounds?
I did not.
Okay, you tell me this because you're more familiar with game ops stuff than I am. But this is all fake, right?
I would think
they do it to go viral. You should see it. The guy proposes.
I'm holding it up right now.
The guy proposes. It says, "What's her name? Will you marry me?" And then she kind of reacts coldly, and then you see her mouth, "I don't know," and then they have kind of an awkward interaction. Gotta be fake.
I think they really, so again, as we've talked about some of the obvious stunts.
Like the bear dumping popcorn on the Rockets fan.
Yeah, the guy gets his hat attached to a helium balloon and it pulls his hat off. Those are fake. People do really propose at games. This is not super uncommon.
And they have faked no's before.
They probably have faked yeses and no's before just to generate some.
I think it was the Rockets that had a famous no.
And the Jazz had a very famous one where the dancer got proposed to, and she said yes. It was cool. They did a different dance than she had practiced, and she's looking around like, how do I not know the moves to this entire dance? And it turns out her fiancé had set it up.
I used to know a dude who proposed to his wife at a Jazz game, and she said yes.
Okay.
But I got to think the no is just... Because there's no way you do something like that if you think a no's coming. If it's even possible that a no's coming. But yet, it goes viral... if the no happens, just because it's so embarrassing. I got to think fake.
This is pretty good arena acting if it's fake. I'm generally with you where I would just tend to believe this is fake. This woman does a very good job of looking like this might be real. She looks legitimately not mortified, but like she's considering his feelings and breaking his heart in front of, how big is Fenway?
Because it's just, but it wouldn't be believable if she just said hard no. You got to sell
Correct.
it.
She can't
You gotta
throw
sell
the
it.
ring down and stomp out. Then we know it's fake. Throw a hot dog in his face. We know that's fake. She does look like she's kind of being a nice guy about it, or a nice woman about it. I'm on the fence about this one. I kind of think this might be real.
Could you imagine anything more humiliating than that?
Yeah, proposing at a sporting event.
But proposing and getting a no.
I guess that's the worst.
That's as bad as it gets,
Well,
right?
I'm with you.
That's worse than my little league having my fly down in right field.
Well, it wasn't just that your fly was down; it's that you'd pulled your red shirt through the fly.
I didn't
for some
pull
reason.
anything,
I
but
don't know why you yanked it too. That was weird. But neither here nor there. You proposed to your amazing wife once you knew she was going to say yes.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys had discussed, should we get married? When would you want to do it? Et cetera, et cetera. Christian, I don't think you sprung it on your wonderful wife. Hey, Jules, let's just, this is a total gamble on my part, right?
I did it to get her to stop hounding me about it.
Okay, but you guys had discussed.
Yeah, right.
Likewise, it was in the talks. It was in the conversation. So while the moment may have been a surprise, the topic of conversation certainly was not. You have to be a true sociopath to risk it, in my opinion.
If you don't know, that's
But,
what I'm saying. That's
Jake,
why this has got to be fake.
We know idiots.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about anyone. I'm sorry if you're listening to the show, you think we're talking about you. We know idiots. There are dumb people.
Yeah, these guys are at a Red Sox game.
These guys, he's proposing if he's serious and he's proposing at a game, at least 15% of the population that proposes at games is an idiot.
Yeah.
So there's a chance this is one of the 15% idiots who not only is an idiot for proposing there, he's an idiot because he doesn't know what the answer is about to be.
Have I told you the story about my late father-in-law? Not, I ruin is too strong. We're kind of ruining my proposal.
No.
Have I told you about that?
No.
And by the way, we had his memorial yesterday, so shout out to the entire Nazarini family. But he's from he's from Iran, right? So he's from a different culture. And I thought, well, I've got to ask the father of the bride permission. Stupid tradition on my part, like an American tradition. So I went over to his house the day before, and I asked him about it. And he kind of gave me a look like, oh, okay, and whatever. As soon as I left, he called my wife.
Oh.
As soon as I left.
Dang.
And by the way, he doesn't know the custom. It's not
Sure,
his, it's not
right,
his
no,
fault.
he didn't do anything wrong.
No, and the fault was mine. And in retrospect, it makes it a funny story that now he's included in, which is a nice warm memory. But
the surprise was.
But the surprise,
spoiled.
she knew it was coming.
Okay.
And I was not the type who had her help me pick out the ring or anything like that.
Right. You really did kind of put a lot on your shoulders.
Right. I did. And then I said, oh, okay, sure. I had a great relationship with my father-in-law.
Yeah.
But as soon as I left, bam, right on the phone.
Your soon-to-be fiance was just here. He wants to know if you're going to say yes and if I'm okay with it.
I assume
Thanks, Dad.
I assume if she was going to tell me no, she would have put the kibosh on it, though. So I think he actually did me a favor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Then I wouldn't have had the humiliating no.
Did you do it in public?
Yeah, in public, but not publicly.
Sure. You were outdoors. There were people that could have been around, but you didn't make a spectacle in the middle of a restaurant.
Oh, I told you I had to ditch my friends.
Yeah.
Because we were at Oktoberfest and we ran into some friends. And I was like, oh, hey, guys.
We can't hang out tonight.
Great to see you.
You can't hang out with us at Oktoberfest.
They were like, hey, do you guys want to come and go to the tent? And I was like, hey, we're going to get a bratwurst. It's like, yeah, we'll be right there.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Be there in a sec.
Yeah. Shout out to your father-in-law, honestly. Some of the best to your family.
Yeah, we had it was nice yesterday. But yeah, like that I knew she would say yes.
Yeah. But this guy maybe didn't.
Well, don't do it at a game.
And
That's
especially a bad Red Sox team. This team's like 10-23 or something.
This is fake.
I hope so. I hope for his sake.
What did you think about Joel Embiid saying he'd buy tickets so the Knicks fans can't? Did you see that story?
Pathetic. Yeah, I don't know. Not on Joel's part, but yeah, man.
The Philly fans?
Hey,
part?
Philly fans, just buy tickets to support your team. If you like your team, which I get why you wouldn't like this 76ers team. This has been what's an appropriate term to say? This has been a difficult marriage since the process began. What was that, a decade ago now? That they were tanking all the games for 4, 5, 6 seasons, whatever it was, to get Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and yada, 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 all these pieces. And to get to where they are now, Jahlil Okafor. Yes.
Markelle Fultz.
Right. All the Michael Carter-Williams. Yeah, all the best pieces. Man, those were number 1 overall picks or top 5 picks, a lot of those guys. Not Michael Carter-Williams, thankfully.
Rookie of the year?
He was. I get why 76ers fans probably are skeptical about this relationship. However, you're the 8th seed. You just knocked off the 1 seed. No, 7 seed who just knocked off the 2 seed. Joel, this was the craziest stat of the weekend other than what the Orlando Magic did in their Game 6 loss, scoring only 19 points in the second half, which is mind-blowing. But that over the last 2 weeks, the 76ers have won the same number of games in Boston in the playoffs as they had since 1983.
I saw that.
They could not win a game ever in Boston in the postseason. I did not know this was a number. But to match that by winning whatever 3 games in this series in Boston is awesome. Very, very cool for them. I still understand why there's some skepticism about this 76ers team and whether Joel is going to be healthy or not. But there's something brewing here. I hope Joel doesn't have to actually pay fans to use their own tickets and that the Knicks fans, God love them, don't infiltrate whatever the Philly arena is called.
Joel basically said, we're going to need that support. We're going to need them to be extremely loud. If you need money, I got you, which, is an empty.
Xfinity Mobile Arena.
An empty promise. I don't blame fans for selling their tickets.
Not at all.
I really don't. Yeah, be more compelling. I wonder how many Jazz fans sold their tickets to the finals. Because I remember hearing those stories, right? Like, I can pay for all my whole season tickets just by selling
playoff tickets.
Playoff tickets to Game 6 or whatever the case is. I wonder how many people actually did that. I bet the number is super low. Because that Jazz team had a connection to the community and they were super compelling and they had this build up to it and on and on and on. Those of us that are old enough, not Christian, to remember kind of how that worked. I bet you the people that actually pulled the trigger and did that was super low. But if you don't have the relationship with your fans to get them to come to compel them to leave money on the table, I don't blame them. If it's not that important to them to go to that game, by all means, sell away. And don't shame the fans. That bugs me. If you're the Raiders who are already complaining about the opposing team fans outnumbering them, well, be more compelling.
Yeah.
Do what the Golden Knights did and endear yourself to the community. Make sure people want to go.
I was at the first game ever for the Mammoth. And it was a hodgepodge of colors and jerseys and sweaters of different teams. And then 2 years later, you and I were out on the plaza on Friday. It's Mammoth gear all over the place. They've done a nice job giving the fans something to believe in. And Philly, I get why your fans don't like you. Now, I thought it was lame, and you would hope the 76ers fans would go and support this team because the 76ers can beat the Knicks. I picked the Knicks to make the finals before the season started. I'm feeling better about it today than I have at any point this year, other than when I made that bet or that guess. We didn't bet anything. Just that prediction. But 76ers fans, you have the best player in this series. You might have the 2 best players in this series. Joel healthy is the best player in this series.
He is. I agree with that.
The second best player very well could be Tyrese Maxey. He does what Jalen Brunson does, but actually plays a little bit of defense. So I'd believe that. So go win this series. Go to the conference finals. Finally recognize or realize what the whole process was about. And I don't think you're going to beat anyone who comes out of the West, but you're an injury away from having a real chance to win whatever you want because they can beat either Detroit or Cleveland, whoever gets out of the other series as well. So, yes, I would, hope the 76ers fans would go and support their team. But do I have any problem with fans wanting to sell their tickets to make their money back? That's on you, buddy. You bought them in the first place. You can do whatever you want with them.
And in a very strange way, the ludicrously overpriced everything in New York works to their favor.
It's cheaper to go to games in Philadelphia, including travel, than it is to go to a game at Madison Square Garden. And you didn't even mention the best part yet. You don't end up on one of James Dolan's lists.
Which is nice.
You don't.
Which is nice.
You don't end up
But like
have to sign over
in your
medicals.
daily life, when you're used to spending $30 for a slice of pizza, dropping $500 on a ticket to a basketball game doesn't feel quite as painful.
And again, if your option to go to the game at Madison Square Garden is $800, and you can go spend a weekend in Philly, risk your life, and also go to a basketball game, life's pretty good for $500.
Is Philly dangerous?
No, Philly's cool. It's a cool city.
I've never been.
Yeah, I went when I was younger. I don't know.
You're risking your life.
Probably any real city. I went to Nashville. The cab driver was like, "Don't go over there. Stay over here.
Stay on this side of the river."
Thank you, sir. Good advice. So I'm sure you can get yourself in trouble in Philly. You can get yourself into trouble in New York. But yeah, if you can go to a game for cheaper and you can ride a train down for, how long is the train ride? Not that long. To go from Philly or New York to Philly. Good for those dudes. And Knicks fans are hilarious. Now, Philly fans are also hilarious. I've gone to a couple of NBA drafts, and they take place in Brooklyn. And the two best fan bases every time at the draft are Knicks fans and Philly fans. Now, I went to the draft during the process, so those fans were going absolutely bananas. 76ers fans were nuts. I was at the Joel Embiid draft, and they were in Barclays Center. It happens in Brooklyn. They were in Barclays Center starting a "Let's go Philly" or "Trust the process" chant with like 400 people blocking up the entire walkway of the arena. I thought it was really funny. Knicks fans, you go to a Jazz game and there's Knicks fans going nuts. I saw Knicks fans almost fight each other at a Jazz game this year when there was like 40 people around. I do like that they congregate. So these are two very funny fan bases going head to head. And Knicks fans, you want to buy tickets and infiltrate? Go ahead. Philly fans, make some money. Go take over Madison Square Garden.
Who's feeling better about their prediction that they don't really love? You or me? You picked New York to win the Eastern Conference?
I also picked Denver, though.
That was rough. No, but I'm speaking specifically about New York. Or me picking Cleveland.
I think Cleveland might be the worst of the four teams still playing. I could be wrong on that. I would listen to I'm way wrong on that. But they were down 15 in the first half to Toronto in Game 7 and probably should have lost that series earlier.
Their defense is so bad. But why? New York's defense is bad. Why? Equally as bad.
New York has really good depth. You don't have to love all the players, but like, if your bench includes Mikal Bridges, who's flawed, but when he decides he can attack the rim, still.
No, Mikal Bridges is awesome. They've ruined him.
They have ruined him, but when he decides he wants to go to the rim, it's a really good player. Like Jose Alvarado's a pretty good player. Deuce McBride's a pretty good player.
But if they don't have the ball, what does
right.
it matter?
If they're watching Jalen dribble, Jalen Brunson, that is, it doesn't work as well. So they have depth, though, and you watch Cleveland, and Sam Merrill's really cool. He's fun to watch. And Evan Mobley and Donovan and James Harden are good players. But you start getting into some of their depth, and it's just very, very questionable. So
I don't love either team, but I certainly don't think the Knicks have arrived.
Well, no, none of these teams that are here have ever made the finals.
The Pistons might be a really bad matchup for Donovan and Cleveland.
Well, they're just going to push them around.
Yeah.
And they're going to make both James. And the nice thing about the Orlando Magic, if you're a Detroit Pistons fan, is none of the backcourt players really make you guard. Jalen Suggs guards. He's not a very good offensive player, so you don't have to try that hard to defend him. Cade had a pretty easy series. And Anthony Black was in the Keontae George draft, and Keontae George turned into a much more productive player. Anthony Black's not making you guard. So now Cade's had an easy life. He has to go and guard Donovan Mitchell a little bit more and has to guard James Harden a little bit more. So we'll see there, but they also have to guard him. You know, they have to go guard MVP guys. Donovan Mitchell was just playing a series against Jamal Shead, was the starting point guard.
And he was
in
getting
Toronto.
beat, too.
Like, okay, now Donovan or James Harden, you have to guard all-NBA first-team Cade Cunningham. He's going to be top 5 in MVP voting this year. And that dude's going to roast you. He's going to cook you guys. So that's a fun part of this series. It's
Except
a fun
for
matchup.
The Pistons don't really cook anyone.
No, they play defense.
Yeah.
But they turn on their defense, and all of a sudden you shoot 4 of 37 in the second half, which
And
is what Orlando did.
I don't like a tubby James Harden either, but I think Cleveland's better than the Knicks.
Okay.
And James Harden dribbles the whole game too, and so does Donovan Mitchell. And so it's not like I'm endorsing Cleveland, I guess. But I do feel like they've got as good a chance as the Knicks do.
Asar Thompson, not a man, his brother Asar, who plays for the Pistons. I know you know who he is. Going up against Donovan Mitchell is
Oh, it's gonna be a long. It's gonna be a long series.
Great basketball.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really fun basketball. The same way you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Trevor Ariza guarding
taking Donovan out.
Kind of took him out of a series. Now, this was early in Donovan's career. Donovan's a better player now, but Asar Thompson can, if not take you out of a series, make your life hell for 7 games. And Detroit is absolutely going to be hammering. I mean, they play some bad boys basketball. They like to get physical. They are going to push the Cavs around and really try and get them off their game, and I'm excited for this series. Again, the East playoffs is fun. Knicks-Philly is a very funny series. Those rivalries, that fan base, no one wanting to hold on to their tickets, selling it to the other fan base, great storylines. Or Cleveland, Detroit, and kind of some contrasting styles and tough guys and finesse players, and James and Donovan is really fun. I hope the West provides any type of excitement, but the East is going to be must-watch TV for me.
I think the Spurs and the Timberwolves is a decent series.
Yeah, it is. And it's much better than Anthony Edwards is back. It's way better.
He is going to play, by the way. That is news today. Yeah, I don't know about Oklahoma City should roll, right?
I don't remember exactly how long the series went with Minnesota in each of their last 2 conference finals berths. Because they've been to back-to-back conference finals. They lost to, obviously, the Thunder last year, and they lost to the Mavericks the year before that. I think the Mavericks one went 6. It was Luka hitting the 3 over Rudy. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how long last year's series was. I can look that up. But generally, Minnesota is built to have long series. They are a team that's designed to win a couple of games every series. They're good enough to do that, and they have some guys who can go off for big games. And that should make them at least reasonably dangerous, so... They lost Game 5 last year. So that was pretty quick work by OKC. I don't think this Spurs team is as good as OKC was last year. So I hope for 7. The more basketball, the better at this point.
What's more likely, Minnesota winning the series or the Lakers winning 2 games?
Minnesota winning the series. Lakers, dead man walking. That's unwatchable. I told you I was bad at my job and didn't watch any Suns Thunder. Other than there's just fewer games now, I would do everything I could to avoid that series. I have no interest in watching the corpse of LeBron James, as great as he is still, and can still put up some great performances against another corpse team in the Houston Rockets after ditching Kevin Durant.
That series was way more about Houston than it was about the Lakers.
But it was a nothing series. It was 2 injured teams who accidentally got into a weird playoff spot late. And one of them probably should have played Denver, and one of them should have played Minnesota, and both of those teams should have advanced. And it just so happened that Minnesota played Denver, and one of those teams had to get eliminated, and it happened to be Denver. But both of those teams, Houston and the Lakers, should be out of the playoffs by now. The Lakers are, by 1,000 miles, the worst team still in the NBA playoffs.
I would agree with that.
By 1,000 miles.
Is Luka coming back? Did he go back?
He's already been ruled out for tomorrow.
Did he go back to Serbia?
For Wednesday.
No, I mean in the series.
The report over the weekend was he's not close. So, yeah, why did he go to Europe? Why did he come back?
Why did he come back?
I'll be watching from here. The hours are better. You're on in the middle of the night. I'll be up drinking.
That'll be great.
Me and my friends will be out. We'll see if the bar will turn the game on.
Really fits into his lifestyle.
Yeah,
the tip-off time there. It's really nice.
If you start it with this Euro music, this trance music, the Lakers game goes perfect with it.
But AR's back.
Okay. Cool. This is going to be a sweep for the Thunder. I think average margin of victory, 15.5 points.
Remember when Adele's boyfriend went on a podcast and advocated that the Lakers trade AR? And then what was LeBron's response?
Yeah, he speaks for himself.
That's when we got the AR thing.
He speaks for himself. He wanted him to trade him for Jaren Jackson Jr. Jazz said, no, thank you.
How would you feel if you're AR? LeBron might have been right about that one, honestly. AR's a restricted free agent.
Unrestricted.
Unrestricted free agent.
Yeah. And he's going to demand the max, and I'm not sure he's a max player. So he only plays one side of the floor.
Just like their other max player.
And their other one. And LeBron.
And LeBron, yeah that's rough.
Yeah.
Although LeBron's not going to be max next year.
No. And I excuse a 41-year-old from only being a one-side-of-the-floor player.
I don't.
Okay.
Then retire.
Yeah, maybe.
Then retire. If you can't play.
But Luka just doesn't want to play on defense.
Well, no.
Yeah. He still gets
That'd
paid the
require
same.
him to be in shape.
Yeah,
He's not going to do
still
that.
get paid the same, so life's good.
He probably can't move laterally either way, so he might as well be heavy.
Uh-huh.
He's probably happier that way.
We would all be.
Right. Or are.
In Christian's case.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. We're going to do more locker room cleanout sound from the Utah Mammoth. We're going to let you hear from, let's see here. We're going to let you hear from Logan Cooley coming up right around the corner. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm such a bad traveler. Do you know how mad I would be if I was sitting in the terminal and the airline I was flying on went out of business?
Talk about Spirit?
If they just came up and said, yeah, the airline is out of business, you're just SOL.
Have you ever flown Spirit?
No.
Christian?
Yes.
Experience?
It was fine. I mean, you got what you paid for. I mean,
You do get what you paid for.
It was just a quick Salt Lake to Vegas, so.
Yeah, I flew back from San Diego on it. The chairs kind of felt like folding chairs. They're really thin. You are cramped together. There's certainly no in-flight entertainment of any kind. But it was affordable.
But I'll take it for a quick $45 flight to
yeah,
Vegas.
better than driving, certainly. So shout out to all the good folks at Spirit.
Yeah, I'd never like to see that, but I can't tell you how bent I'd be if I was sitting in Omaha.
I've got to
I gotta get
somewhere,
home.
Anywhere.
And they just said, hey, guess what? The airline's out of business. That means you don't have anybody to complain to.
Thanks for buying your ticket.
And you don't have a ticket.
Yeah.
And you're just there.
Yeah.
Would you, what was that terrible Tom Hanks movie? Would you just move into the airport?
Not Arrival, the Terminal. That movie stunk.
Isn't that based on a true story?
Yeah.
Didn't some guy just live in an airport for like 2 months?
Yes, like 12 years.
No, it wasn't. Was it really 12 years?
Uh-huh.
Christian shaking. What was the premise? Was he going to be arrested or something?
A guy moves into a country. The country closes, a la Spirit Airlines. The country gets overtaken or something, and he no longer has a passport.
And so he just stays? All right.
He just didn't have anywhere to go.
We were riding in a cab in Fiji, and the cab driver was describing the coup that had hit the country like a month before we got there. And he said, oh, it was a nonviolent coup. Don't worry. It's much better now anyways. And it's like, wait, what? A coup? He was so haphazard about a coup. I couldn't believe it.
Don't worry about it. It's an uprising.
It's
nonviolent.
He's like, it's a nonviolent coup. Everything's fine.
Alfred Mehran, also known as Mehran Karimi Nassiri, Persian, was an Iranian refugee who lived in the departure lounge of Terminal 1 at Charles de Gaulle Airport from August 26, 1988 to July 2006.
Wow.
88 to 2006.
But Persian refugee, that makes more sense.
Yes. He chose to remain in the airport despite being granted residency in Belgium in 1995 and France in 1999. So to be fair...
So it was performative.
To Mr. Nassiri, rest his soul, he died a couple of years ago, he just decided this was a bit. He's like, this is the funniest bit anyone's ever done. I live in the airport.
That's quite a commitment.
For no reason.
He just probably got comfortable.
Sure. Get comfortable in France.
How could he afford it, though?
He returns the carts for quarters, and then people started feeding him.
Is that true? I've never seen the movie.
Oh, yeah. He takes like the luggage carts, and he turns it back in. You get $1 back or whatever for returning the cart. And apparently that's how he survived. In the movie.
You'd have to return a lot of carts just to get like a...
At the airport?
Like a stale sandwich.
You couldn't get your wife an apology present?
That was like
With
Mike
those?
Vrabel? No.
You would need way more than that.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Locker room cleanout for the Mammoth was yesterday after falling, in game number 6 to the Golden Knights on Friday. We've been playing sound today. We're going to have more sound. We're going to let you hear from Clayton Keller at the top of the 5 o'clock hour and live at 5. But right now...
This guy died at the airport. Nassiri died. Sorry for interrupting you. I'm reading the story. He died in Terminal 2F. Come on, man. Now you've become a problem.
At de Gaulle Airport?
At de Gaulle Airport.
I can't believe he was allowed to live there. I can't believe that's a thing.
Again, it's one thing if you're stuck and we have sympathy for you. Then you're granted clemency or citizenship. It's like, get out of the airport. This is an airport. And then you die there and we have to figure it out?
Yeah.
I lose some sympathy. Great story.
Bad movie.
Bad movie.
All right, let's hear from Logan Cooley from yesterday.
About growth this year for you personally. I know this is a big year for you. Can you speak to how you feel kind of finishing out this season with this team?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think each year you want to come in and have a good start, and individually it's kind of a weird year with the injury, and just, I don't know, it felt a little different, but as a team, I mean, it was great to get in the playoffs, get that taste, and definitely could build off it going into next year.
What was the thing you learned most about yourself, obviously, through that injury, but also just, on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing on the ice would just be, I think in the playoffs, just how physical it is and how much, you hear about how hard it is to win the cup, but once you're actually in it, it takes everyone. It takes, every shift, every game. You can't take a shift off, so that's definitely eye-opening for me, and I think as a group too, and individually, I think going through that injury, it made me a lot mentally stronger. It wasn't the easiest thing. It was my first time kind of dealing with something like that, but I think as I got through that, definitely helped build me mentally.
And then just as this core continues to grow and this playoff push was a stepping stone in that direction, where do you feel like the ceiling is for this group in the future?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think there is one. I don't think, there's a limit on what we can accomplish. I think we got a special group in this locker room and a bunch of great leaders, guys that have been through, so many different playoff games, cup runs, and, it's joy to be around these guys and, excited to see what we can accomplish next year.
You've played in NCAA championship games and the World Championship, won gold there. How do you feel like the intensity level and the tight checking and all that in those games compares to the Stanley Cup playoffs? And did it help prepare you at all for the playoffs? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a complete different game. It definitely helps prepare you with being in high pressure moments and when it's do or die. Those definitely help, but I think playoffs are just a different animal, just how physical, how fast the games are. I don't think anything could really compare to that.
Do you think you'll be at Worlds this summer?
I think it's something that I still have to kind of talk about with my agent and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's just kind of a grind of a year with the injury, and I'm not saying no to it
like that
for sure yet, but I think just want to get healthy and have a good summer. When you one day look back at it, do you think this first taste of playoff hockey will be really important for you as a player? For sure. I think you have to get that taste to kind of really understand what it's like. It's honestly coming into it, I didn't really know what to expect. You see the games, and it looks a lot more physical, but once you're actually in it, like I said, it's it's night and day compared to the regular season, and something that I think we all kind of can learn from, and next time we get in that position to end up winning those series.
During the time that you were upstairs watching the games from above during the injury, were there things that you observed that you normally just don't see at ice level that you were able to absorb while watching the team? And is there anything from that you were able to take onto the ice when you returned?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm always watching, whether that's other teams around the league or, I was out for a while there, but I think just the time and space, like when you're watching above, you're like, oh my, how do you not make that play? But then, it's easy as a fan perspective, just watching the game, there looks like a ton more room. But I think just the biggest thing would be realizing that you do have a little more time and space sometimes. And but yeah, I think it's a little different than when you're up above watching.
In terms of raising your game in the playoffs, what did it require of you, and how do you feel like you kind of manage that challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on in the series it was good. I think, they did a good job of kind of keying on our line a little bit more after the first couple games, and just seems like couldn't really adjust that well, and I think that's another big learning moment for me, just finding ways to still produce, still play my game, when maybe teams start to put more focus and, especially on our line. But overall, I think, it was a good first, playoff series, I guess, for me, and something that, I'm going to learn a lot from.
Last 5 years have been about building towards the playoffs. Is that the standard now, is to make sure you're in the postseason every year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all want to get to the playoffs. That was our goal. And, I think the focus kind of switches to, now we're winning in the playoffs. I think everyone got that taste of playoff hockey. And the biggest thing for me is, that was so much fun playing in those moments and in those games. It makes me want to, continue to keep playing playoff hockey.
And building off that, do you feel like after the success that you personally had and the team had in this tight playoff series that this is doable and the team's on the right track?
For sure. I mean, we have a great group of guys, a lot of great leaders, guys that, are unbelievable players and, like I said, have won cups before. And I feel like, we had to just maybe scratch the surface of what we could, accomplish in this league. And I think, we're going to be a pretty dangerous team to stop for a while here.
We heard you guys talk a lot about how the confidence going into this year was different than last year. What made the difference between last year and this year in terms of how this team carried itself?
Yeah, I mean, I think our first year, it was just kind of a whirlwind with us, getting moved here. And, it honestly just seems like a blur. I feel like this year we had the chance to get a new practice facility. Everyone's comfortable with living, and I think that plays a big factor too. Once everyone's situated, then it just seemed like this year was way more smoother, and I think just the way we played from the start, and how everyone matured. I feel like everyone got a lot better as a player too, and that's what made us help the next step.
And then when you reflect back on the season, was there a highlight moment, a goal, a scenario, anything like that you can say that was your favorite?
It's a tough one. I mean, I think the first game coming back from injury was definitely a special one, but I think maybe the favorite game would be, or goal would be in Columbus, the 0-2 winner. That was a good one.
What do your summers usually look like, and is there anything different that you would do this year, training-wise or otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, I go back home in Pittsburgh, take some time off, maybe golf a little bit, see some family, friends that, I haven't seen in a while. And, I got a great trainer, a guy that I've been using the last 2 years. We have a great group on the ice, and, there's definitely a lot of things that I'm looking to work on and kind of add into my game, but I'll keep that with me.
All right, there you go. That is Logan Cooley, Locker Room Cleanout.
Getting a little more outspoken. We talked to him last year in Locker Room Cleanout when we were over at Delta Center. He came and spoke with us and was a little less. Now, he was on the radio, and I know that can change things, but he was not that comfortable speaking. You can tell he's kind of grown into his skin, and he's clearly going to be one of the important faces on this roster going forward. In fact, I think if you had to bet who's going to be the best player on the team 3 years from now, I would say Logan Cooley. So I think him developing his voice is probably pretty important.
And Liam O'Brien.
And Spicy Tuna. Sure.
He made some, not rookie obviously, but young player mistakes in the playoffs, had some bad penalties.
Mm-hmm. I think he was also the best player on the ice for the first three games for the Mammoth, certainly.
But talking about learning, I mean, that's the stuff you learn.
Yep.
And don't let a team like Vegas get under your skin.
Well, there's a reason they tried to get under his skin. They targeted him specifically, A, because he's good, and B, because he's probably a little vulnerable. And he talked about the overtime winner where he shushed the crowd as his favorite goal of the season. He's got a little bit of that. He's a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bully. He doesn't mind getting under the opposing team's skin either. And I like that in a player.
Like that?
Dang. Gone all day with that.
I don't think you can look like that.
Like that?
And play like that. I think he's got to switch it up.
Okay, what do you think, Mohawk?
No, I just think with a baby face, you can't be the...
Well, he can't change his face. This
I know.
Face
so
he's got
to change his game. You've got to be young. He's got to be humble, not outspoken.
Oh, he's got to be like a sweet kid?
He's got to be, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's his look. Yeah, you
babyface assassin, Logan Cooley.
Right. Not rub it into the other fans kind of guy.
Well, they're going to punch him in his face, and it'll get bulbous, and he'll lose some teeth, and he'll look like a chump.
But then that even more leans into the... Everybody goes, oh.
You think?
Yeah, okay. Everybody. And then they're on his side because you can't... You know what's not popular, Ben? Beating up little kids.
It's true.
It's way true.
Inarguable. Yeah,
No,
you got a point there, Jake.
You get pictures of that baby face all swollen up, and then people are on board.
They feel bad
They're
for
like,
you.
we got to support this kid.
Okay.
He's being bullied out there.
You get a point. Don't beat up little
I
kids.
know it's not his fault. That's why he has to change his attitude, because his look doesn't match.
Yeah. But like Ovechkin, his face is weathered.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that dude's a tough guy. That's fine.
You can do that to opposing crowds
Mark
and that
Stone.
sort of thing.
Yeah. Chump. I get it. Babyface. What did you call him? What was his nickname?
Oh, Stevie Weeks.
Stevie Weeks. Yeah, nobody's beating up Stevie Weeks.
Like, this is where maybe Zach Wilson missed the boat.
Mm-hmm.
When you look like a little kid, you can't be the cocky guy. Right?
Justin Bieber can't be a tough guy.
Yeah. Gordon Hayward can't be a
Cursed
tough guy.
with a baby face.
Yes. It's not his fault.
Okay. I like him zagging when everyone else is...
It doesn't mean you can't be a tough guy. You just can't act like it.
Okay. He's kind of it's a little more bratty almost.
Yeah. Okay. I can get on board with that. Yeah. Stay tuned. We've got Audio Vault coming up next. Ben says this is a really good one today.
Well, that's just funny. I'm curious to hear your opinion on it because I don't know whose side you're going to take.
Oh, good.
I want to know whose side you take.
Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay tuned. Coming up the 5 o'clock hour, we have sweet tickets to go see the Royals. So we're going to give those away again coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, so make sure and stay tuned. But
Tickets
right now,
in the suite.
Not sweet tickets, but...
They are sweet tickets, but they're tickets in the suite.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's time for the Audio Vault, the best sound of the day. Ben, set this one up.
Okay, so I didn't know who this person was until today, admittedly, but there is some lore with the Arizona Coyotes. About a decade ago, the Arizona Coyotes hired a man named John Shaika as a 26-year-old to be their GM.
Okay.
26, was hired to come in and run the team. And, believe it or not, did a very mediocre job. Did a very average job. And then, the day before their first playoff game, I believe in 2019, he resigns abruptly. What they found is that he was interviewing with other teams trying to get a different job.
Okay.
And as his team was making the run to the playoffs. Now, this was on the heels of several other major controversies, including cheating pre-draft to work out players who you don't get to work out with outside of the combine.
Okay.
You know, do you remember this last year? We talked about this. You don't get to bring players in for workouts and put them on the ice. All of that happens at the combine. It's not like the NBA where you have these individual workouts. It's just what you see in other games and juniors, et cetera, or at the combine itself. So this guy had been cheating.
Okay.
And as a result, got banned by the NHL for a year by Gary Bettman. The Coyotes lost a second-round pick and a first-round pick in 2021. They retraded into the draft to draft Dylan Guenther.
Okay.
But this guy has been banned by the NHL, untouchable. Hasn't been in the league for 5 years. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who just missed the playoffs for the first time in some time and are kind of viewed as being a little bit of a disaster right now, kind of out of nowhere just hired this guy to be their GM again. But he has a horrendous reputation. Like it would be, who was the Arizona State coach?
Oh, what, Herm Edwards?
Herm Edwards. He's given Herm Edwards vibes. It would be like if out of nowhere, Ohio State was like, you know who we're going to give a run for? Herm. Let's see if Herm can do the job. And today at his introductory press conference, this was the interaction, the first question between a reporter, and I will pull up the reporter's name, Steve Simmons, and is it the president of the team? And the president of the team who made the hire. This is what the interaction was at the introductory press conference.
Okay.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say, 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion than I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
That's it? Huh. Mind you, John Shaika is sitting at the table with Keith, the president of the Maple Leafs, while Simmons, this reporter, calls him, what is it, a sham, a liar, a salesman? A con artist, the best one, a con artist. I've seen contentious interviews. I've seen contentious back and forth between coaches, players, media, a lot. I'm not sure I've ever seen a media member talk about somebody else like they're not in the room the moment they got hired while they're being introduced.
That was a great clip. Let me think. Okay, so there are a lot of dumb general managers out there, and there are a lot of dumb presidents, and there's a lot of dumb franchises. So the fact that the Toronto Maple Leafs would make a dumb hire does not shock me. Nor do I think it is out of bounds for the reporter to ask why you're making a dumb hire.
No, I think it's a good question.
So, but what I don't like about the reporter is the reporter made it all about the reporter.
Yes, he did.
And was attacking like his feelings were hurt.
Correct. He said, how did you come to a different conclusion than I did?
Genius me.
Not what reputation do you hear that these people didn't share. It's how is your opinion different than my opinion?
And I love the team so much that I'm going to come at you. Like, people misconfuse that all the time. There's nothing wrong with reporters asking tough questions, but how they ask it is kind of telling of where they're coming from. And you see reporters that have their feelings so hurt by the team that they love that they'll be like, I'm going to get them for this ridiculous, I'm outraged. It's like, that's not really your job to be outraged. He could have asked that question in 2 seconds in a way less controversial or less personal way. Say, this hire has a controversial past.
What made you comfortable hiring him?
What made you comfortable hiring him?
But that's not what he said.
That's not what he said. He said, fraud, what, sham, salesman, fraudster? Like, hey, con artist? Like, hey, reporter, I'm not really interested in your hurt feelings about a bad hire.
Correct.
You can just ask, hey, this is a controversial hire given his background. What made you confident in doing it? There's a million ways that you could have asked that. That would have been hold their feet to the fire, ask a tough question, but you don't need to be so angry about it.
I admire the work of calling 20 people, doing your due
Good
diligence,
for you. Put it in
getting
your
the
story.
background information. Right. Everybody I talked to said this and this and this. That's great. You can put that in your story. To say this is the conclusion I've drawn from the people I've talked to, which, by the way, is what you can write your story about, but to have that as the question towards Keith, who's running the
to go at him.
Toronto Maple Leafs, I thought was a little personal.
A sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Because of your bad question, you're being talked about on the Jake and Ben show, which is probably all you wanted. You're having your viral moment throwing down with the team president because you do not approve of their hire.
I'm with you. I'm totally there with you. I would also add here that there is another sideline story here is that currently, like the assistant GM, I think, of the Toronto Maple Leafs is Josh Doan, who's Shane Doan, Josh Doan's father, who was an Arizona Coyotes legend. And has been an assistant GM there, and the expectation is he will be out of a job now. So you got to ask tough questions sometimes.
You do, but how you ask them does matter.
You hurt my feelings. How dare you do this
to
me?
How dare you? To be perfectly honest, it's a sham. Okay, pal.
Do you remember what I asked Will Hardy there when he said thanks, Ben?
Thanks, Ben.
I can't remember what he said. Something about how they were not playing well.
Oh, he was being a smart guy? He wasn't actually thanking you?
No. I said I think you guys didn't shoot the ball well.
Stay tuned. Live at 5, coming up right around the corner. We'll continue with the Locker Room Cleanout. We've heard a lot of good stuff. We're going to hear from the captain coming up next, Clayton Keller. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So, of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for Live at 5, and it's brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. The latest story at KSLSports.com, story about the Monarchs falling to the Timbers. You can check that out. The biggest story of the day at KSLSports.com, of course, is the Utah Mammoth, their season coming to an end. Ben, we've been playing Locker Room Cleanout sound today, and we will get to more of it coming up here in a second. But want to encourage everybody to jump onto KSLSports.com and check out all of Cole's great work covering not only Game 6 in the playoff series as a whole, but, man, he was busy yesterday, Ben, Locker Room Cleanout. So he's got it all.
Cole's done a great job. He's really done a very nice job covering the Mammoth since he's got the job. But, covering the playoffs, traveling, Locker Room Cleanout, it's a lot. And then it really does end abruptly. It's kind of a weird business in that sense, but Cole's done a great job.
Yeah, Cole probably thought he was going to be back in Vegas on Sunday.
Yep, for sure.
Or at least had to make that
refundable ticket.
Make that plan.
Yeah.
Oh, you bump it to vacay.
Yeah. I mean, one hell or high water, I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah. You just bump it. We'll do a little
Sorry,
vacay.
I can't do Locker Room Cleanout.
I'm still going. I'm still going down there.
Already.
I got a spot at Circus. They're expecting me. I got to go.
Sounds great.
I took my kids to Circus.
That's where my parents took me to, but I think we went to the one in Reno. There's one in Reno, yeah?
Oh, man. If the Circus looks the way it does in Vegas, I can't imagine what it looks like in Reno.
Exactly like you imagine.
And you live detail to tail.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And yes, there is one in Reno. Guess how much tonight would cost?
The Circus in Reno.
Reno.
This is a great game. All right, Christian.
$29.
Oh, I'm going to go a little more.
Have a little respect for yourself.
I'm going to say $59.
$67 tonight gets you an evening at Circus.
Dude, my kids would jump on it. They had a great time at Circus.
Expedia though, yeah, you're at 63. Oh, airport hotels worldwide, $59. So you were right on.
Okay.
Lowest price I could find.
Winner, chicken dinner.
$59. That's cheaper than rent for a lot of places.
If you stayed for a month?
Compared to a lot of things, considering you have a maid who comes in and makes your bed for you.
Do they have that service at Circus?
At least they shoo the rats out.
Do you think? Oh, unlike the the cruise line, the Dutch cruise line. Oh, that's the worst story. All right, let's get to the captain. Let's hear from the Utah Mammoth captain.
$1,770 a month if you were to stay at Circus at that price. That's pretty reasonable.
No, for those conditions, no.
Internet, shower, garbage. It's all taken care of for you. Room, it gets cleaned.
Acrobats?
There's clowns that live in your house?
Yeah, free
I've lived
entertainment.
with some clowns before, but
I don't know.
for $1,700?
$1,700 seems a little steep.
Christian, your mortgage is way more than $1,700.
Yeah, I would probably. I'd consider it for at least a month.
And you're the clown who lives in your house, so you don't even get the advantage of watching other clowns. So that's not a bad deal. $59, but you also have to live in Reno.
Where? Okay, I'll look this up later. Let's get to Clayton.
Apologies to Clayton Keller.
Let's get to Clayton Keller, the captain from yesterday.
For you personally, how was the last 48 hours in terms of just processing, the end of the season?
Yeah, to be honest, it was obviously not the way we wanted it to go. But like I said after the game, just super proud of this group, and what's to come. Like, I think we have a very special group of players, coaches, ownership, management, like that all wants to win, and we feel that we're going in the right direction, and we're super motivated and excited for the summer and leading up to next season.
Can you expand a little on why you're so proud of this group and what this group had to do in order to get to this point this season and kind of have more success than the last?
Yeah, I mean, I think our goal definitely was to make the playoffs, and then when you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. You can go on a deep run. You can there's teams that people thought before the year had no chance of being in the playoffs or making it past the first round, and they're there. So it's that's it was our goal, and it's super hard to make the playoffs, and just how important every game is, every day is, and I feel like our young guys and even myself included, like, have taken strides in just like how hard it is to win, and all the little details matter. And when you're younger, you're worrying about so many other things, your contract, living on your own for the first time, just everything that comes with it. So how we've progressed so quickly is just like cool to see, and speaks about the guys that we have here. The Cools, Gunner, like I could go down the list of the guys that have positively like impacted of where we want to go.
Along those lines, how has all of that and what you just said contributed to the fact that you guys have earned respect in this league just 2 years into being a franchise?
Yeah, for sure. I think we have a great team. We have a little bit of everything, lots of speed, skill. We can play any style of hockey, 6'5", 2'1", like, doesn't matter. Like, I feel like that's, something we also learned throughout this year is, there's different ways to win games. There's going to be nights where you win when you probably shouldn't, and vice versa. So just, staying even-keeled, like, just, now we kind of got a taste of, how hard it is to get into the playoffs. Like, it always comes down to the very end, and every team's fighting and so hungry. So, going into next year, like, we've got a taste of it, and now, like, that's like the standard for us. Like, it's a playoffs or it's a bust. Like, nobody else?
All right, sorry.
I can leave?
Sorry, I thought you were still gone.
No.
What when you think about this year, what stands out as like the highlights of the year? Just either individually or as a team or anything?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many good moments. I think the moments, I guess it's more than a moment, but like the 5-game stretch of, where we won, like leading up to the playoffs, like we kind of knew we needed, 5 or 6 wins to get in, and we rattled off like 5 or 6 in a row, and, made a statement, and, we're super confident leading into the playoffs. So like I would probably say that stretch of games when we needed to play our best and win hockey games.
How do you think you improved in your second year as captain of this team, leadership-wise, especially because it's the first time you led this team in the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, I think, I always say nobody's harder on themselves than me, and I'm always, breaking down things that I did, nights after games, the next day, like just trying to, make sure that I'm doing everything I can to be a good leader, be a good person. Also worry about my own game too as well. And I think I've done a good job of balancing all that. And, I think, you're a captain for a reason, and it's not like I changed who I am or, certain things I did. Obviously there's way more responsibility, but I think I've definitely taken strides, and obviously I've went through a lot this year, and there was times when I needed my teammates to really help me in that role, and they did, and that speaks volumes about the type of players and people away from the rink that we have. So I think it was a good step in the right direction in terms of leadership, and I think I'm going to do everything I can to continue to get better.
Is it back to Arizona for the summer for you?
Yes, I'll be mostly in Arizona. I might be here a little bit too. I haven't fully decided, but I'd like to spend some time in both places for sure.
It was an eventful year for you, a lot going on. How did you grow as a person?
I don't know. I think there's lots of different things, but I think at times I actually needed other people more than, me growing. Like I needed my mom, my brother, my mental coach, my grandma, like those, are people that I leaned on when the times were the toughest. And ultimately, I think, that helps me become a stronger person. Whether if, someone's in a similar situation ever or, whatever it may be, dealing with something else, like, I know what they're kind of going through and, just checking in, seeing if they're doing okay. And, I'm always there for, my teammates and same way that they were for me, basically.
A lot of the guys have talked about the potential of this team, multiple guys saying that, moving forward, there needs to be a belief that you can win the cup. What kind of potential do you see, and how does that belief now shift towards what those guys were talking about?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Yeah, I'm just curious, what potential do you see in this team? Guys like Vanacek and Uyghur have talked about there's a potential for this team to start believing that you can win the cup. Would you agree with that? And what do you see in this team?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely believe that 100%. Like, you look at our team and, the strengths that we have and how young we are, and we're only going to get better. We're going to get hungrier. Like, we're going to, we go through those experiences in the playoffs where the margin is so small and, we very easily could have won that series. Like, we were leading going into the third, like just how those little details matter so much. So I think, as we learn and get into the playoffs and get in those key moments, like, we're only going to get better. We're going to get more comfortable. And I think that's how you win, is you have to go through some, times to, get over the hump and to learn just how hard it is to win.
Spicy.
There you go. Clayton Keller, the captain. A little salty language there at the end. Christian had to dump. When we hit the dump button,
Shout out to you online listeners.
I was going to say, when we hit the dump button, does it still goes over the YouTube and all that?
It's supposed to eventually get fixed, so it doesn't. I don't know if that has happened yet.
And it wasn't that egregious, but we could get in trouble
that
if it
one's
went
on you,
over
Christian.
the air.
Just kidding.
No, anything goes on the internet. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get in trouble for that.
I've been on the internet, pal. You don't got to tell me twice.
What does that mean?
Again, we talked about Cooley kind of growing into his own skin a little bit, getting a little bit more comfortable in his role. Keller is the captain of the team and does have to be a vocal leader. I am a big believer in vocal leadership. I kind of think the lead by example is mostly nonsense. Sometimes you need to have a vocal leader. Sometimes the leader does need to be able to jump out and get on you. Now, that doesn't mean they have to perform it publicly. I think there is a difference there. But, Gordon Hayward as the lead by example guy. The Jazz really desperately needed a vocal leader, and Gordon wasn't it.
See, I don't think I'm not entirely disagreeing, and this is obviously subjective. In fact, not disagreeing at all. Other than I think different personality types can lead in different ways. I don't know that you necessarily have to be a vocal leader. I don't necessarily think Gordon Hayward was a bad leader because he wasn't vocal.
That's not the only reason he was a bad leader.
Right. That's
Yes.
what I'm getting. And in fact, vocal leaders can be pretend leaders. Just because you're vocal and talking doesn't make you a leader. I think
Correct.
there's a lot of examples of that in pro sports. I don't think
I'm the best player on the team.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell is a very good leader, and he won't shut up.
He wants to be the most vocal leader. Terrible.
He
leader.
wants to tell everybody what a leader he is, and sometimes you can't just tell. I mean, Salazar walks around this building telling everybody that he's the next coming of Salazar, and expects us all just to believe it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I keep coming back to John and Carl, where they actually were kind of a good mix of Carl was too vocal and John was
less so.
Was too conservative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of worked for those guys. But maybe there's a better example of it out there.
You know who was a good vocal leader on that team? Jerry Sloan.
Yeah.
Very vocal. That's fine. You had a voice there. You know, there was a funny clip. I should have pulled it. I was going to send it to Christian earlier. Did you see Donovan Mitchell getting yelled at by Dennis Schroeder? Donovan Mitchell late in the game, 7, turns the ball over, doesn't run back on defense. That is where you need to be a leader by example of I made a mistake, I'm going to atone for it immediately. That stuff does stand out. But Dennis Schroeder yelled at him and said, look, that's unacceptable with where we are and if we're trying to get to where we're going, which, by the way, is a little bit of actual leadership from Dennis Schroeder. And then after the game, Donovan said, yeah, it was my bad. I should have done it. I should have made a mistake, because he got called out for being a bad leader in that sense, because he's not a very good leader. But Keller does have the C on his chest and is supposed to be the leader of this team. I don't think you can do it and not be able to vocalize it, at least some. And I didn't know how good he was at that last year. And I think it was Cole who asked the question, and I think did a good job of, where have you improved as a leader now that you have the C on your chest? If it was somebody else, I apologize. But good question. And I thought Keller recognized that, I have to be a little bit more vocal. I think that's a good sign.
I told you I once had to sit through meetings with somebody who thought they were freaking General Patton and talked for an hour. And it was like, we're only sitting here paying attention to you because we have to, not because we're inspired. But I do think that. I do think that different personality types, like, I don't know, well, maybe I won't use an example around here, but I do think just if you are a soft-spoken or shy, what's the word you want? You can still be a leader. I believe that. I think you can still lead a team even if you're not naturally a loudmouth buffoon.
I think I'm a little skeptical. I will tell you that. And, the best example I would think of as the quiet guy who was a great leader was Tim Duncan.
Or Dwayne Wade. I mean, you could think of a bunch of them.
I think generally those people also have somebody next to them who is the vocal aspect, whether that's Greg Popovich or Pat Riley, who provides at least a little bit of that aspect. So maybe Clayton can do it. The problem is right now I don't think there's another voice on this team that is serving as the leadership. So in the meantime, it's a good sign that Clayton is adopting a better ability to communicate what the team needs. And I think he did. I think that was a good locker room cleanout.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know Mackenzie Weegar said good things about Keller and the other two assistant captains, Krause and Sergachev, and was speaking so warmly about the leadership. That says a lot more about the leadership to me than Clayton Keller talking.
Lauri Markkanen, bad speaker, bad vocal leader. Very enjoyable person, really a lovely guy. I think is there for the right reasons. I think his care factor is actually through the roof. I don't think that's hidden because he doesn't talk. But it's really obvious when you walk in the Jazz locker room that Keontae George and Jaren Jackson Jr. control it in a way that Lauri cannot. And as a reflection, people will look to the people who are talking. And you do hope it is not Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. You do hope it's a good person because, as you said, the wrong leader, vocal or otherwise, can be a really bad sign. But if you don't fill the void as a speaker, somebody else will.
I also think Europeans are at a disadvantage in this
enormously.
Mm-hmm.
Enormously. No question about it.
Rudy would have had a tough time being the leader on that Jazz team.
Yeah, I would be willing
even though he really wanted to.
I'd be willing to bet that Jokic is not the most vocal leader in the Denver locker room.
Some guys are just so good that it's a force. You just kind of have to fall in line.
Yeah.
I bet Luka Doncic is a terrible leader, but he has to be the leader of any team he's on.
Correct.
Because his game is so selfish that...
His game is so loud that, yes, you have to follow suit. Clayton does not play a particularly loud game, Clayton Keller, nor is he particularly loud vocally. But again, I think this evolution is probably a positive for him. And I will be very curious, because I suspect he'll get asked a similar question, what Bill Armstrong, Chris Armstrong, and Coach Bear have to say tomorrow.
All of our great coverage, I say our like I had anything to do with it. I should say all of Cole's great coverage of Locker Room Cleanout is up online at KSLSports.com. And I mean all of it. He's very thorough.
And those three who I just mentioned will speak tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
I think we might take it live.
We better. That's me being a vocal leader. I'm telling you guys what to do.
It's up to Salazar. He's not here.
Oh, yeah.
Shocker.
Salazar is long gone.
Some leader.
And Salazar is currently yelling at Xavier to fix his stance while taking a cut.
Yeah.
Lloyd told me today that he told me Xavier had a pretty decent. What did he say, Christian?
Something like not good enough.
Not good. Yeah, like Xavier went this weekend. He said Xavier went like 2 for 6, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
And Lloyd made it seem like he was displeased.
Okay.
He said not good enough.
Sorry, the standard is Barry Bonds or better.
I had no idea that Lloyd was that kind of sports parent.
Well, you can't give up any. If you're a dictator,
that's true.
You can't appear soft anywhere.
Son, you're only hitting 400? Yeah. You're going to be walking home from practice until you pass that line.
Let's get it up.
Let's get it up. Come on. What is this? We're not going to make get to the majors by going 2 for 6.
2 for 6 in Salt Lake City?
Was a 10-year-old?
Not good enough.
Not even close. Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good night's sleep.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty and the coach at Miki Couture in Layton this Thursday from 10 to 2. Shop now for Mother's Day deals. 50% off any regularly priced blanket with code ZONE50. Let's give away some tickets in the suite to the Utah Royals. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. 4 tickets in a suite, plus a parking pass to the Royals against the Houston Dash coming up on Wednesday. That's this Wednesday, May 6th at 8 o'clock at America First Field. Go
Very
see
cool.
the Royals.
Yeah, very fun. And sit in the suite.
I've not seen a game in a suite there at America First Field. I'm sure they're nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I've sat in the media areas, but not the suite.
Where they had an open press box for some reason?
I was chilly, but I was working early in the season.
801-575-ZONE. 4 tickets in the suite. 801-575-ZONE. Ben, did you see that Jeff Bezos is selling his $500 million yacht?
Hard times for all of us.
Real quick here. We don't need to focus on this, but it has a support ship worth $75 million.
The boat on the boat is worth $75 million?
Or sailing behind it.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
I don't think it's on. It probably has a submarine and a helicopter, I bet. But
yeah.
A support ship, I would believe. Anyway, do you know how much how much it costs per year to operate these 2 ships?
$40 million.
30, close. $30 million just to crew
the docking
and maintain.
Fees, the crew, yeah, the taxes.
Truly one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for here, for overdoing it?
Egregious?
Egregious or, I don't know, vain? I mean, Could you buy anything more, God, I still can't find the right word, but not luxurious, but luxurious in an obnoxious, unnecessary way.
Yeah, not superfluous, but yeah, unnecessary.
Like I've seen those sweet houseboats at Lake Powell. You could just get one of those.
Absolutely. Seems like a good time.
Yeah, knock yourself out. It's pretty luxurious,
You can rent them for like $7,000 for a few weeks.
but dropping $500 million. What would be the normal person equivalent? Spending $500 on pants?
Yeah. Like a car that you can't afford. It'd be like you buying a Bugatti. Being like, yeah, I drive a $250,000 sports car now. It's like, Jake, I don't think you can afford that. Now he actually can't afford this. So.
My question for you is this. You remember when Karl Malone was selling his house here and he couldn't find a buyer because the house cost so much, but it was also built for Karl?
Yes. It was wilderness themed.
It was like a log cabin kind of thing, and he couldn't find a buyer because, what percentage of the population can actually buy a house like that?
Yes, there was not we don't have a lot of, at that point, people worth $40 or $50 million they could justify.
And would then want the log cabin, the urban log cabin. How many people on the planet could actually afford to buy this from Jeff Bezos?
Also, yeah.
He's probably calling Elon Musk and Warren Buffett, and as soon as they say no, he's like, what? Who am I going to sell this garbage to?
I've been known to get on KSL Classifieds and look for a deal for something. Sometimes, if I'm buying, I think the last thing I bought was like a camera lens. Cheaper than buying it new. Saved a little bit of money. You're not selling a yacht to somebody who's trying to save money. They're not getting a discount on their $500 million yacht. So at that point, aren't they just building their own yacht? If you can afford a $500 million yacht, you build a $500 million yacht. You don't buy Jeff Bezos' gross used one. Unless you're getting a real deal on it, and why would Jeff Bezos need to give you a deal on it? So,
let's see. An estimated 4,500 to 6,000 people worldwide actually have $500 million.
Okay. How many? 4,500?
4,500 to 6,000.
It's not many.
Oh, it's not many at all.
And that's max net worth.
Right. That's just having the asking price of the yacht.
Which I bet you there is a huge chunk of people who are stuck on $500 million as their net worth, and it'll never go up.
You'd have to be worth 10 times that to even consider buying the yacht, right?
Correct. You don't get to $600 million and say, you know what I'm doing? Spending 80% of my money on
Jeff Bezos'
a super yacht that costs an additional $30 million a year to run. No, that's insane.
I've got my buddy Adam. His brother is a yacht captain. He's a captain for a crew. Now he does the sail ships. He doesn't do Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, he's a sailor.
He does actual. But I always thought that sounded. Everybody thinks we have the coolest job ever. Now I get vertigo, so I could never do something like this. But at one point in my life, I would think captaining a yacht for the rich and famous would be the coolest job on the planet.
Have you ever watched Below Deck? Oh, the reality show Below Deck is right up your alley. It's just crap TV and drama and kids. It's a little bit like Road Rules, Challenge, not the Challenge, but it's a little bit
like
Real World, Road Rules, whatever. But it's on a luxury yacht, and they will have funny celebrities that come on for the episode, and the episode is about John Denver's kids are here, and they're renting out the yacht for the weekend. And that's what it's about. The insanity, though, of waiting on people. That's the problem. You become a glorified server.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's
not if you're the captain of the boat.
They even have to answer when the crew stinks. And usually the crew stinks because it's a bunch of kids who want to go live on a pretend yacht for a couple of months a year.
But every time I hear about my buddy's brother, he's like, hey, what's he doing? Oh, he was in the Mediterranean in the south of France the other day. Yeah.
Okay. No, you're right. That'd be fun for a few years.
Oh, he's going to sail to the Gulf coming up next week.
Great.
It'd be amazing. All right, Ben, NBA playoffs round 2 begin tonight, and you don't think the Timberwolves stand a chance. You think they might as well lay down and not even compete because the Spurs are the next coming of the 90s Bulls.
I do think the Spurs are the better team here. I was really worried about the Timberwolves because it didn't seem like they were going to have Anthony Edwards. Now Anthony Edwards has been cleared. He will be on the floor tonight. Coming up in a little less than 2 hours is when that game tips off. So that's a plus. However, as somebody who's covered sports now for 20 years and watched sports my whole life, I do hate the coming back from injury guy in the playoff storyline because inevitably they're just injured. How much Jack McBain did we see for the Mammoth in their opening round series? It's just I get it. It's cool that you're toughing it out and you're getting back out there, and I understand fully why you would want to compete and be out there at your best. And you turn in an entire season to get out there and play. So often these are just the most disappointing or hard series to watch because the guy is clearly not at 100%. Mike Conley trying to play through a hamstring. Donovan Mitchell trying to play on a bum ankle in Utah. We've seen it over and over. I don't have a lot of faith in it. So in that sense, it almost, look, they're better with Ant at 70% than they are without him. But I'm a little worried this could be lopsided.
Minnesota without Ant is still a mile better than Portland, and the Spurs sucked against Portland.
It's true. It did go to 5 games.
So, I don't know. Wemby is a one-man wrecking crew, and I think it'd be easy to look at a player who is top 2 or 3 in the NBA currently, arguably, but it's more nuanced than that. I'm not just going to automatically give him the series because that guy's really good. I think San Antonio's built super clunky.
They are clunky. And until they actually get tested for their clunkiness, which, by the way, in the playoffs, all of your flaws get exposed, and they get exposed tenfold. Not just, oh, well, that game was weird because none of their backcourt can shoot. No, all of a sudden, once the team recognizes they can exploit it, and you can't change your roster mid-series, it looks worse and worse and worse and worse. So, yes, I hope that we do get to see it. Even the Oklahoma City Thunder 2 years ago, before they didn't coast. They went to 2 different 7-game series, but won their first title. They got exposed because they couldn't rebound against the Dallas Mavericks at all. So they had to go out and make adjustments and get some bigs and bring in Isaiah Hartenstein, and it ended up winning them a title. That was good, but they were that close, but that one flaw had them eliminated in the second round of the playoffs. The Spurs absolutely could be there, where they might be good enough to win a title next season. You generally don't get all the way to the finals your first year, and somebody will expose you for your flaws. I would love if Minnesota finds it.
And then their coach, Mitch Johnson, hasn't done a dang thing.
No, he's not.
I can't believe and maybe he's honestly a great coach. I have no idea. But I was surprised when he got that job.
Agreed.
There were, I don't know, a dozen Pop proteges that would have knifed the backup punter for that job, and they just promoted in staff.
That was the theory of why Captain Jack left the Jazz.
Thought he'd have a crack at the Spurs
People
job.
thought he would get out of work, not have to be able to take a season off, or go right into the Spurs job when Pop retired.
Always gone.
And Pop didn't retire.
Why is the rum always gone?
So, yeah, to just hire from within, but good for Mitch Johnson. They're good. But they're good because they have Wemby.
But I think Finch is a heck of a coach.
He really
is. They might have the coaching advantage.
They should. You've coached in the playoffs versus a guy who's never coached in the playoffs outside of 5 games against, yes, the very lowly Portland Trailblazers. You should get out coached in that series.
By the way, that game starts at 7:30, and they're throwing that one on NBC Sports Network. Good call. Get it on the Peacock as well. The early game starting at 6. So, Ben, 15 minutes?
Yep.
The Sixers are on the road at the Knicks, game 1. That is going to be on big NBC and Peacock as well.
This is going to be a good series.
That, by the way, that programming makes no sense. And I am frustrated by the NBA's TV deal and how all over the place it is.
Selfishly, I'm mad for 2 reasons. One, I want to be able to watch these games not concurrently, but I want to be able to watch them one after the other.
Uh-huh.
Is that concurrent?
Consecutive is one after the other.
I want to watch them,
yes,
at the same time. I don't want to watch them concurrently. I want to watch them consecutively. So that's a me selfish thing. Also, Jake, how many Jazz playoff games have you covered in your life?
Oh,
what? 100?
Probably.
What time do they all start?
8:30. It used to be 8:30.
Why is this game starting at 7:30? I know that they're in the central time zone because they're in Texas right now, but I'm sorry, kick it to 8:30. I don't know what to tell you. You're trying to get it on TV.
Even in the playoffs, I don't think they do 8:30 anymore, right? Don't they just do 8?
They might just do 8.
But point still stands.
Yeah, fine, do it 8 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of games start late where I've been waiting around for the game to start.
In that time zone, too. The Jazz have played the Rockets
Yes.
a zillion times in the playoffs. They all start at 8.
So what are we doing here?
No, what they're doing makes no sense. And how many people out there are honestly going to be frantically searching for NBC Sports Network out there?
Yeah.
I used to have the Dish Network. I couldn't tell you what I would have the number to ESPN memorized.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have the number to FS1 memorized. Utah State did a lot of games on CBS Sports Network, right? So you would know that one. I don't think I watched one dang thing on the NBC Sports Network.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Did they even have Olympic stuff on the NBC Sports Network? They've got to be in a negotiation with DirecTV or something.
No, I think honestly they did like drag racing.
Right.
Yeah, that's where it was. Stuff along those
I've had a
lines.
ton of people. In fact, maybe I'll do this next segment. We should look it up as a little service to our listeners. What channel you can actually watch that game on?
Good idea.
Stay tuned. We can do that for you. A little public service where you can watch this stuff. Man, it was just nice when it was TNT or ESPN. Although I love having it on over the air. Not to get sidetracked, but they're doing a lot of stories about how good the NBA ratings are.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're putting games on NBC and ABC. It's because they're on over-the-air
Monday night
networks.
and Tuesday night, there's a game on NBC.
They're not lost on cable like the playoffs were for the first several rounds for the last 20 years. I think it's great they're actually putting it on Channel 5.
Shocking. You put it on broadcast TV and people watch your product.
More people will watch it.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Be the best
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Jazz coverage in the market. They've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jay Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got him Matrix and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
Hey, Jake and Ben, this is Eb from Ogden. I'm calling in for the Quinn Snyder Jack Sparrow quote. My brother Zach from Ohio suggested one the other day, and I can't let him win this. So my Jack Sparrow quote is, did everybody see that? Because I will not be doing it again. I think that is so Quinn Snyder. He never changes his rotations or anything, and if he does for a little bit, you're not going to see that again because he'll just go right back to what he does.
Shout out to Eb from Ogden. Thank you for listening. Thank you for using the call-in feature.
Professional podcasters, great quality.
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
So we're of course we're calling Quinn Snyder Captain Jack now because that's what his players call him.
Uh-huh.
And we needed a good Jack Sparrow drop to go with it.
What are the odds CJ McCollum's not on the team next year? After letting that leak.
100%.
Yeah, they're going to absolutely move on from old CJ McCollum.
He's
now,
gone.
They're probably going to end up with a pick between 5 and 8 in the draft, somewhere in that range, just like the Jazz. They're close to that spot. And a lot of guards there. So they will have an excuse for Captain Jack to make CJ McCollum walk the plank after exposing his secret nickname on national TV.
NBC Sports Network is channel 159 on Dish.
Okay.
It is channel 619 on DirecTV. And it's channel 1211 on Xfinity Utah.
You know, when you go to the grocery store, what's the code for bananas?
I have no idea.
Christian, what's the code for bananas?
No,
You
I
guys don't
know.
eat bananas? It's 4011. But it's 4011 if you go to Smith's. It's 4011 if you go to Fresh Market. It's 4011 if you go to Macy's. It's for whatever you go to. The code for bananas is 4011. It's the same in every grocery store you go to across the United States. Can we not regulate what numbers the TV channels are? What is going on with these TV companies that have to have 500 different channels? I get you do have 500 different channels now.
Mm-hmm.
We can't say channel 1 is this, channel 2 is this, channel 4 is this, channel 5 is this. What is this? Why do we have to have, how many did you just mention for NBC Sports?
1,211.
3 different ones? 3 different stations, 3 different providers have 3 different
Oh,
numbers.
yeah, 3 different numbers. But in that case, it's like different tiers or different, the sports is on the 600 or whatever. I get it. It's confusing. But you don't have
4011 bananas.
But you don't have to subscribe to all 3. I think that's what they tell you.
Sure, that is fair. And
You're only subscribing to one in theory.
But it would be nice if I switched from Dish to
lots of people switch, right?
Or whatever.
But
and then
they don't
you have
want to cater to them.
relearn your entire.
Why would they cater to people switching?
I don't know. I thought we used to cater to the customer. Apparently not.
No.
We make it harder now. So, anyways, end of rant. I'm sorry. But that's so stupid.
I'm surprised you have all the numbers at the grocery store memorized. I just, there's a little sticker on the banana that you just scan.
Sometimes it's little. Or I don't want to, I'm too lazy to look at it and scan it. Just type it in, 4011, drop it on. Now, to be fair, that is the only one I know. I'm sure some other people are good with their codes. But I buy a lot of bananas.
You spit out a lot of hot takes today. I hope you got some left in the tank for tomorrow.
I did. I've been writing them down. Because now I have to start keeping track of them.
Hot take, the Met Gala is the stupidest thing in our culture.
I do think that if you're trying to gain attention at the Met Gala, you could do a better job sitting courtside at Knicks' Game 1, second round of the playoffs opener.
All my page 6 stuff is all Met Gala. And by the way, Katy Perry looks like listen, if you get clowned for calling yourself an astronaut when you're not one, don't wear an outfit that makes you look like an astronaut.
It'll be meta. It'll be funny.
It's not.
No.
You just remind everyone that you called yourself a hero for going on a plane ride.
Yeah. In fact, she should have dressed up like Captain Jack Sparrow as a nod to her ex, Orlando Bloom.
That would have been funny. It wasn't...
madness or brilliance. It's remarkable how often those two traits coincide.
I can't hear a word that Johnny Depp's saying in that role. Easier to see when you're watching the movie.
She wasn't the one that compared herself to Neil Armstrong. I think that was Gayle King.
I think you're right.
Because she was pushing back against the people making fun of her. And she said something like, would you make fun of Neil Armstrong?
No.
I think it's a little different.
Went to the moon.
Went to the moon. Actually went into space.
Yeah.
Didn't Katy Perry strum some stupid song?
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I know. She kissed the ground when she got back?
Yeah. You were floating around looking like an idiot. Neil was actually worried he was going to make it back alive.
Right. Advancing human history by unmeasurable bounds.
And there was at least, 20% chance they don't make it back.
99% chance they were going to die? Yeah.
Katie, you were coming back.
Yeah, the first person who tries to go to the moon, 99% chance you die. No question about it.
That's actual bravery.
Shout out, Ebb. Good calling.
Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.